Good night, good night, good night. How you beautiful people doing tonight? I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I hope things is working beautiful for you guys. I just hope you guys, feeling blessed. Shout out to all the people who trying to plant the food, trying to grow something. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to all the people in the Herb Garden Challenge. Big up yourself. Keep staying positive. Keep posting them videos because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you. Hey, boy, Blue, how you doing? Hey, Fifi Johnny, what's going on? How you guys doing tonight? Well, you know what? Well, you guys see the topic tonight. And let's talk about this topic tonight because I think it's important because I think we got to understand. Hey, OG Living Life, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Yes, I think it's important. I think we need to know what is prepping. And tonight I'm gonna have an open panel because I want to hear different views of prepping. What we consider as prepping. Because I'm sure that many people see prepping in different form, in different ways. But what is prepping? What level is prepping? What we consider as prepping? Because yes, guys, it's time to prep. So I want to know what we consider as prepping. So anyhow, how you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys have a blessed week. I hope everything working out good for you guys. Fifi, I see the weather change and you had us to do your thing. I mean, you see, that's a form of prepping. You see what I'm saying? People might look at that as prepping, but to me, all that is a form of prepping and being prepared because guess what? If you didn't have your thing together and the weather change and things could happen. You could lose plants, you could use fruits, you could use a lot of things. So prepping comes in from a wide angle. So I just want to see what the people see prepping consider of. Hey, container in my garden, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Okay, the weather is definitely challenging, but I'm adjusting when I need to. I'm prepared to adjust. That's what I'm talking about. Being prepared, being ready, and being all you prep. Prep is being ready. Hey, big dog Philly, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Yes, guys, tonight should be a real beautiful night with this topic because I really want to hear from different point of view what we consider as prepping because I have my way of what is prepping, but I'm sure other people have their way of what they consider as prepping. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Yeah, shout out to each and every one of you for coming out tonight. I truly appreciate you guys. Let's have a beautiful night tonight about this topic because it is important because sometimes okay, put it this way. Put it this way. We doing gardening, right? We do a lot of us do gardening. A lot of us do gardening. Most of us in here right now do gardening, right? But when we look at prepping, what is prepping? I really want to hear some views about prepping tonight. Yes. All right. So yes, tonight I'm gonna drop my link. All is, if anyone feel like coming up and talk about it, let's do it. Because you see, what happened is a lot of people told, because what we got to understand. What we got to understand, there's plenty people who actually new to this thing. You know what I'm saying? Plenty people new to this. A lot of people never really prep. A lot of people never grow food. A lot of people never do these things. So it's becoming new to them. So this is what we here for the people, the new people who actually willing to learn or want to learn. We here to share whatever information we could share to help prepare them, to let them be aware of the things and what they can do and how to get things together and how to be prepared, you know what I mean? Because I remember, I remember in the all the time, people used to prep. You see what I'm saying? Is they never wait till disaster. They was prepping regardless. You see, and I'm gonna say, let me just say a little here. Hey G2 June, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Let me just say this, right? In them time, you know, in them time, people had no, they had no refrigerator, they have none of these things, but they figure out how to store meat. Like meat, you check what I'm saying? Fish. They figure out how to store these things. You see what I'm saying? What they used to do, they used to add a lot of salt and put it in the sun and store these things. So these people wasn't in you no need of refrigerator. And I think today, yes, we have technology today that basically take over. And when I say take over, I mean like more, it's like more of technology than the thinking. You know, we not think no more. We turn to the technology. But if the technology, if there's no electricity one day, or there's no internet for a month, how people gonna survive? So you know, this is why we encouraging people to prep, start prepping in case, because you dealing with technology now. We used to deal with the wall where you had was to figure out how am I storing my meat today and get it done. But now we actually depending on technology to store our meat, our food, whatever we decide to store. So we just want to get people prepared and start, you know, having ideas, because yes, we might know, but there's people who actually don't know. All right. Hey, Dominic, how you doing? Torsini, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on? All right, let me go back in the chat. All right, all right. Being ready is in some way, shape, or form for what me. I agree with that. I agree with that. Seasonal prepping. Yes, yes, seasonal prepping. Meaning you prepping whether there's a disaster coming, where what you always prep, you always prepare. You see, nothing wrong with prepping and being prepared. You know, I mean, we see things before our eyes. But you know what? What does happen? What I notice does happen, and I'm sure many people can agree with me on this. When disaster hit us and we got to scramble and do whatever we got to do, that's when we start thinking about planting food, doing this, doing, you know what I'm saying? And as soon as things come back to normal, that you're able to function again, people forget about the things the hard was to do when everything was closed. You can't forget that. You got to still maintain that. You see what I'm saying? In case it happen again, you prepare. I'm not telling anyone to go out there and spend every dime they have prepping. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put little thing aside and, every time you shop, put something aside in case, because we just never know. You can't get, for what you see, for what the world see 3 years ago, for what the world see 3 years ago, I don't think anyone should go back in their comfort zone. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. I don't think anyone should go back into their comfort zone because they see things get back a little normal. I think you should continue what you're doing, learning how to do little things that, get yourself occupied with learning. Canning is a part of prepping, yes. And the thing about it is to what we do, we got to learn. Okay, prepping come from a real wide angle. But now, say for instance, you growing food, right? If you growing food, you should able to start prepping. You should able to start. You should learn. What I'm saying, you should learn how to do something. Hear me now, because what I'm saying is, if you're growing food, how you not prepping? You see what I'm saying? I'm not getting it. If you're growing food, why you not learning to can? If you're growing food, why you not learning to figure out how to save the food, that the food could last for months? There's a lot of food you could put into vinegar, and store them for months without. You're supposed to learn these things. You're supposed to know these things because you're growing food. There's no way you should be growing food and don't know how to prep, don't know how to can. These are things we have to get comfortable doing. Just like, not for instance, right? You go in the store and you're gonna buy something in a can, and that there for months on that shelf. You don't know how long it's there. You could, canning ain't that hard. There's so many ways. You could go on YouTube. You could go on many different places and learn how to do canning and all these things. All right? Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, all right. Add Fifi. Hey Fifi John, how you doing?
How you doing, Planter?
All right. Wait, who is that? GT Junior? Okay. All right. How you guys doing tonight? How you doing, Fifi Johnny?
Good. How
How
are
you
you?
doing, GT Junior? What's going on?
PT. Hello to everyone in the chat.
So how
I'm
you
doing
guys?
just fine.
So guys, what you guys consider as canning? Okay, Fifi. Okay,
Go ahead.
before you do that, introduce yourself to the people. Let them know what you're doing. Introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Fifi's Journey. My name is Fifi from Fifi's Journey. That's my channel's name. I do gardening. I raise chickens. I raise turkeys. I do fishing. I go hunting. I pretty much, live a lifestyle where I try to provide and prepare as much as I can for my family and not having, I mean, I don't do 100%, but I do as much as I can for my family without having to depend on, other sources to provide for me. And this is pretty much a way of life that I grew up because I'm from the Caribbean, and I try to do the same thing living in the US. I try as much as I can. So this is what I about.
Okay. All right. So GT, what about you?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm GT Junior. That is my name.
Okay,
I am a
okay.
gardener. Let me close this so y'all can hear that. I am a gardener because I live in Alaska. That's right, Alaska, baby. I cannot grow year round until I build more structures. But I raise chickens. They're in the garage right now, but I still am able to collect eggs. I am an
What?
indoor gardener, um, indoor crew. What's up, Mike? So that's what I do. Yeah, I'm a gardener and other things. Yeah,
Okay, all right, all right. So Fifi,
Yes.
what you consider as canning? I just
Yes.
want from your point of view. I have
Yes.
mine. What is your point of view about canning?
About prepping, right? I think it's
Prepping,
prepping you
sorry.
meant to say.
Yeah, prepping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for me, prepping is such a broad, there's so much involved in prepping because you have to be physically able, like the physical alone in itself, because it's a lot to it. You have to be physically ready. You have to be mentally ready. You have to have skills to know how. You have to literally be used to using your muscles and stuff like that because it's a lot of physical work. Gardening is a lot of physical work. Never mind gardening. Oh, I'm gardening because I want to provide all my food. No, that's not it. You have to have a mindset where and I believe prepping begins with a mindset. You have to be able to do certain things and think a certain way to be able to even begin prepping. And for me, I mean, we say prepping, and yes, I do go a little bit further because I'm now living in a different country. But before prepping, I would call prepping a way of life where I'm from. I'm sure it's changed quite a bit now back there, but I mean, prepping for me is being able to hunt, being able to, because you have to provide your food. You have to be physically able to actually carry that. If it's a bow and arrow, you have to be able to pull that 45 pounds. Like that's tough. And I mean, that takes practice in itself to be physically able to go out there and gather food, whether it's wood to cook on, whether it's hunting an animal. If you're a meat eater and you go hunting, whether it's fishing, you have to know how to do that. You have to be mentally and physically able to be doing these things for survival. So that's what I think prepping is about. And when you're able to gather this food and all of that stuff, you have to be able to do things like carpentry, building a wood shed to store your wood up. There's a whole lot involved in this thing. It's such a wide, such a broad topic, but it's a whole lot that's involved. When you grow your food in your garden, you have to know how to ferment, you have to know how to can, you to dehydrate. Like there's a lot of stuff to sun dry, to air dry, and be able to store up your food. Back then, and I still do it here. Back then in my country, we used to put a lot of salt, like we used to say corn, like corn, some pork, or corn, the fish, just to preserve it. And you didn't need refrigeration for that. So that's the type of culture that I'm from, and I'm so happy that I know how to do these things. I was exposed to that, and this is why I try to pass it on to my kids, right? And I think part of prepping too is also passing on knowledge and passing on information to those that are coming up, those that are younger that don't know how, because technology has gone on so far and moved on so far that we sort of lose those skills. We lose those mindset. and we lose the things that are important for us to survive. And I think we should go back. I'm not saying ignore what's going on now in the developments. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying have some sort of balance as a just in case, so we can fall back on something that we know how to survive.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me go in the chat a minute. I see Audrey was saying something here. Audrey was saying, Audrey living like being able to provide food, shelter, and safety for times of emergency and the plan to be able to maintain. Yeah, that make
Absolutely.
a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And not to cut you, Planter, but I believe with her saying that, another thing is that I find that we talk a lot, and I'm going to generalize this. We talk a lot, but how many of us are living the way that we should? We're going to say, "Oh, we have a plan for prepping," but when reality strikes, you don't know how to pitch a tent. A simple cheap tent. You don't know how to pitch a tent. You don't know how to gather wood. You don't know how to identify wild edibles that are nutritious that you can go out there and gather for your family. You don't know those things. You can't carry um, a tool to go hunting because it's heavy. You have to load it. I mean, this all comes with prepping. And I mean, us saying that, yeah, we're prepping and we're doing this and we're that. How many of us goes out to the range and practice? Because if you have stuff going on, when I say going on, if you have a garden, if you have livestock, if you have chickens and you have food and you have stuff stored up, people are watching, people are looking, and those people may not be getting ready, but they're thinking, okay, that's where I'm going to go. They're planning. They're not doing anything, but they're planning where they're going to go to get what they need to get because they're watching you prep. They're watching you stock up on your water. Who's to say? I mean, you have to be ready for anything. You can never prep enough because there's so many different scenarios that can happen, and you have to be at the least bit ready for anything because you just never know. You just never know. And I'm saying all these things because these are things that my family does. My kids are exposed to all this stuff. They know about tools that we can use to hunt with and stuff like that and practicing. We school them and educate them. We let them hold it and touch it and all that stuff. We do that stuff because I think that stuff is important. And that part of it, I was not exposed to that growing up back in the Caribbean. I learned about that more and more. I was scared of those tools, and I'm saying tools because I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And I was scared of it, but I got used to it. I got used to it and I know how to handle it. I go out and I practice. I have a range membership that I go out and I practice. It gets expensive, but I think it's worth it. It's a great investment. And I would tell anybody it's a great investment because if you're a prepper and if you're prepping and if this is the way you live in, you have to be able to defend what you have, to defend your family, to defend your food, to defend your livestock. So this is all a part of what I think prepping is. We should be living the way, if something were to happen, I think we should already be practicing to live that way because in my household, we practiced camping out in the back. We would stay sometimes a whole week or a whole weekend. We would cook outside on wood. And I made a video on my channel about me cooking on wood from wood. But you have to know what wood to use. So in that sense, you have to know you can't use pine wood like pine to cook on because that pine residue is not good to ingest. Too much of that is not good to ingest. So you have to know the type of wood you're going to be using, how to do it, how to start a fire, how to harvest water, whether it's from the rain or a pond or whatever it is, and be able to naturally purify that water. So there's a whole lot that I'm trying to practice and I'm trying to do. You know, I would hear people say, "Oh, you drink rainwater?" Yes, I drink rainwater. I grew up on rainwater. You know what I
Nothing
mean?
wrong. Nothing wrong with rainwater.
Right. I grew up on rainwater. And yes, I do drink rainwater in America. With all the pollution and everybody's talking about, let something happen and you can't get any type of water and rainfall. And let me see what you're gonna do. If you get thirsty enough and if you wanna survive, you're swallowing.
And you know what? The rainwater might be more healthy than what's in the bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Just like I don't know what's in the air, I don't know what's in the bottle. So
Right,
I'm
right.
drinking water.
So GT, what you consider as prepping?
Say it again, please.
What do you consider as prepping?
Um, Preparing is has many elements to it. I've seen someone put fasting in those times where food is not plentiful. I think that's um a good place I need to start. Um, I thought I was doing good until I actually thought I haven't been to the range as much as I used to. I work 7 days a week, so when I do have time, I'm catching up with a lot of different things. But I've been securing things. I used to didn't build anything, and now I build a chicken coop. I mean a chicken run, and now I'm about to build a chicken coop. Come in about a week or two, because I have chickens. And the only reason why I thought about that is because of the times that we're living in. Before that, I was, I just had a little freezer, and the little freezer just had, it was just a full freezer. But then I purchased a deep freezer, because we had the earthquake, and the earthquake just changed. I just had so much anxiety that, you know, I had to change my way of thinking. And I'm very, very fortunate that I got the early warning in 2018 to, try to get my life together. So I'm very happy with how things are going. Being able to teach my son some of the skills that I'm learning myself. I used to watch a lot of videos that were not preparing me for, what may be. And now the last 2 years or so, I've been looking at videos that are actually going to increase my knowledge when it comes down to building, because that's going to be a big task here in Alaska, with us having as much snow as we get. So, but with canning, I have not started canning. I did it one time, but I still need to, get a lot more practice with that. I do dry fire in the home when it comes down to, just being at the ready position with different things. So, and my family, they understand safety, and they know how to utilize tools, because they're a sense of defense as well. So, I started gardening. I garden inside because I want to try to provide for myself. I'm not just gonna take what someone gives me for what they say it is. I want to try to provide for myself as much as possible.
Hey, life from scratch, how you doing? Thank you for being here. What's going on?
Good night, Planter. Good night to you, guests.
All right, good
I'm
night.
kind of late joining you guys, but it's such a pleasure to be hanging with you guys again tonight.
All right.
And
Glad to have you.
it's interesting that, we're all talking about preparing. This is something that's kind of really close to me. From what happened in 2020, life has changed for me in regards to that. So preparing for me is everything. I've learned how to can about a year and a half ago, and I try to prepare as much as I can, whether it's learning how to airtight your food using Mylar bags, putting away stuff for long term, how to make it last long term. Um, Whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's medical stuff. I am trying to do a little of everything because we really don't know what's going to happen. And if something should happen, we don't want to be caught. At least I don't want to be caught like what happened in 2020. So at least, believe it or not, I've even gone to the range and trying to figure out, but I've only gone once because my days are just, I'm out at work 6 days a week and I'm gone, 12 hours a day. So that was something I wanted to get over, the fear of being able to use it, how to handle it. And I decided I'm going to have to be able to do such thing because if you're going to be out there, I have to be able to protect myself and my family.
Absolutely.
And they would be more dependent on me because I look at myself as, the pillow of the whole thing. So I wanted to have that knowledge. And even up to that, I'm trying to prepare for. It's just a little of everything. You have to get over the fear that you can't. You have to get over that and know that you have to conquer these fears and prepare. And it means preparing in every way because you don't know what's going to happen first. Whether we're going to be out of water first, we're going to be out of power first, whatever. You don't want to be caught in a place where it's cold and you have no jacket, no socks, no extra shoes, no extra blanket. Sometimes my family thinks I'm crazy because I'm going into the store and if I see a sneakers that I figure I could put away, I'm putting it away. They're like, Ma, you're not going to wear that? I said, no, this is for down the road. Don't worry. We ain't got no job. We ain't got no money. We got stuff. So we don't need to worry. There's these are the things when you say preparing, that is what it is for me. Anything that you figure you're going to need to be comfortable in a disaster. However it comes, whatever it is, if you have part of that thing, you would be so at ease. And it's important. So that's really my take on being prepared. Getting yourself set up for the unexpected in however way you can. Don't do it all at once. I've been doing this for like 3 years because you can't afford to really do everything in one shopping. As Planter said, you go to the store, you're going to buy 3 cans of something, put away 1, use 2, and just build yourself from there. We have to do something, maybe an extra button, maybe an extra needle. You may think of it as, oh, what am I going to need that for? But what if you can't buy clothes and something happens, you have a hole in your pants, you should be able to stitch it up. You'll keep the cold air out. So these are the little things. It's everything. Think of everything that you have or you use on a regular basis and being able to store some of it away. That for me is preparing in a nutshell.
Right.
Makes sense. Go ahead.
Sorry. And you said needle and thread. And some people may not be thinking that way, but I have that stuff in my little kit, right? And that stuff comes from my background because we always had to repair something. Like we couldn't afford to buy brand new all the time. So that stayed with me. And this is why I think it's important to have these conversations and bring these topics up, because somebody may not be thinking of that at the time because they don't have that exposure. They don't have that experience where they've ever needed a needle and thread. They don't know about that stuff. So I think it's important for us to have these conversations, bring these topics up and spread the word, because prepping, like I said, is a whole broad topic and there's so much involved in it. So if we keep talking about it, I think we should talk more about it. But I also think for those that have not started, for those that have not been practicing to live a little bit that way, I mean, it's your choice, but I prefer to live that way, make it a part of the way I live. That's what I prefer, because for something to happen and you haven't practiced anything, and to jump right from normal living into survival mode can never be easy. It can never be easy, because when 2020 happened, and I've said it many times, we were mellow. We were mellow. We had rainwater barrels at the time. But after 2020, we had the 275-gallon IBC storage tank, water tanks. So we literally upgraded. We upgraded. And right now we have 4 of those. And with that, that's not it. With that, I'm not thinking, oh, we're going to get rain. What if rain doesn't fall? We have to think about a water source, where the pond is, or where what a stream is. So this all ties into an alternative measure. Like if rain doesn't fall and we're dependent on the rain, what's next? If there's no rain, we have no water. We cannot just depend on the rain. So, I mean, this is important things that we have to, just keep putting the word out there about, and, try our best to be prepared as much as we can.
I agree. I agree. Thank. If I miss anyone, welcome everyone. Welcome to the chat. Thank you guys. We appreciate you guys for being here and open discussion. Guys, we're just having a discussion. We don't discriminate. Everyone have their own belief, and we want everyone to be free with their belief. So, all right. So let's go on.
If anyone would like to come up, I can drop down so more people could come up and give their insight on what prepping is, or if they have something they would like to share, I can do that.
Okay, you could stay, you have space, but I'm gonna drop the link again in case someone wanna come up, and just because I'm just curious of where we at with this prepping. You know what I'm saying? Because some people believe prepping is just putting some food together and that's it. Some people don't look at, you got to protect your food. You got to, prepare yourself with boots in case you got to go to walk to a swamp.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You like a water boots.
Right.
In many ways. So, I'm just curious to see what we consider as being ready and prepared.
And don't get me wrong, prepping is absolutely expensive. And a lot of the times you cannot find, like we have a generator, like we actually have two generators, 2 gas generators, one smaller one, a tailgate, and a bigger, powerful one. And we also have solar generator. So it's like you have to have the item, then you have to have a backup for the item and a backup for the backup. That's all in prepping.
I agree.
Sometimes you do all that, and then when you look at it, you have to leave everything you have and run. You have to have your map. You have to know where you're going. When you're going, you cannot go with all these stuff that you've prepped and stored up. So it's a lot mentally to take on when you think about prepping. And this is why I prefer to practice to live this way.
Okay, you see, okay, so like what Sidi, prepping, because like you say, sometimes we just only could grab a bag and run. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can't take everything we have. But at the end of the day, you prep in that form, and you also prep with a little bag rest in a corner somewhere, that in case you could just grab and run.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's about being prepared.
Right.
Yeah, but Planta, look at that, what GT said about, he started with his chicken in the garage.
Right.
And it's starting. It's starting. It's wherever you start,
Right.
wherever you feel comfortable starting. Think about it. You have your chicken in the garage, and you're learning how to build a run or
Mm,
how to go and build a pen. I mean, it's
mm,
starting. It says a lot. You figuring
mm.
out how to feed yourself. That's one way.
That's
You
it.
rather grow your own chicken
Yep.
than buy it in the store.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
And he's learning skills. He's getting accustomed to using manual tools. He's teaching his son to do it. I mean, that's great.
That's
And that's
good.
what we want. That's what we should adapt to, because that's pretty much what it's going to boil down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, because if
Now, see, my
technology fail you, okay, after me. If technology fail you, you have your skill to turn to. That's why I'm always telling people about skill. Skill is important. When you don't you know when the situation was occur a few years ago, right there. Don't you know the skill person was never out of a job? When people losing their job from different places, the person with the skill never out of a job. They was always working. That is something to think about.
Right.
Go ahead.
um like this would be my first year to camp. I've never been camping. It was never my desire to go camping. I'm not from that part of life, so it just wasn't a thought until I started seeing camping videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I need to try it. So when the winter time comes, I'm gonna take off a weekend, and me and my son, we're gonna camp. I'm also gonna do ice fishing. My mom, I had talked to my mom, and I was telling her that I wanted to go ice fishing. She was like, "Well, you want me to buy you some, baby?" I was like, "Yeah, I want you to buy me some, mom." Now I got money, but if my mama want to buy me some, I let my mama buy me some. So I let her buy me the little flag things that you stick in the ground. And
Right,
so,
right.
it was like $23, but it made her happy. Baby, you
That's
did you get it
nice.
yet? I was like, yeah, I got it, mom. You know I'm gonna use it, right? Well, I'm glad you like it, baby. So, yeah, that made me happy.
So
But
you're
I'm
learning
just
a survival skill.
yeah, because
Yep.
you know, fish is plentiful here in Alaska. And I emptied out. I got a chest freezer, and then I got a stand up freezer, and then I got two refrigerators, and they have freezers on them. So one of them it's easy accessible, and I have a uh, um
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go
have
ahead.
a all right. I have a appliance hand truck. So if lights go out and if it's cold, because we have more cold season than we have warm season here, I'm able to hook it up and take it outside, so I still can keep my
Right.
food cold. So I'm
Right.
just trying to, secure that. But the one thing that I messed up on and I keep beating myself up about it is the wood. Like I should have two cords of wood stacked up in my backyard. Like I know this, and every couple of days I be thinking about it. So I already know what I got to do. I got to take the $400 to get me two cords of wood, and that'll last me a winter. So if something were to happen, then I know that I have that source of heat right there, and there's enough trees everywhere in Alaska, within walking distance, where I could chop it every day, chop some wood, store it away, and then by the next season, it'll dry itself off. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking that one thing that I have to secure, before the end of the winter time, before the end of the summer, is I gotta have somebody deliver me some wood to put in my backyard. I also want to get some topsoil delivered to my house, mix it with wood chips, grass, and leaves, and try to create some soil. So, I'm just trying to prepare as much as I can without going overboard, because I work a lot, so
Right.
yeah, but that's all I wanted to lend to the conversation.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a lot of physical work. So if you're just starting in, just try to take it slow. It's a lot of physical work. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I want to say that I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for a very long time. Very long time. You have to gather wood. I still gather wood. I'm never out of wood. And I'll always be gathering wood.
Okay.
So
All right,
just
Auburn, welcome to the stage. How you doing?
I'm good. How's everyone doing today?
hey
Doing,
Auburn, how are you?
doing
I'm
good.
great,
Good,
thank you.
thank
I'm
you.
great. So I just want to say that I like the conversation this week and last week, and for me, being prepared is just being prepared. I guess from 2020, what happened, and having what you need on hand, and not having to fight with people in the stores or like be frantic and just all stressed out. I didn't like what happened for me in 2020, and I always was prepared, but then I decided maybe like before then to stop having so much stuff pack up in my house. It was just like unnecessary clutter, and I stopped packing up the stuff like I used to, like my parents taught me. And then 2020 hit, and I'm like, snap, I don't have all the extra stuff that I used to always have.
Right,
'Cause I didn't think I need to prep anymore, because it's like we live in a modern world, and there's stuff available and you have a few extra, but not a lot of extra. I canceled that and I said I'm going right back to what I know,
right,
and then some, and I'm not doing that ever again, because I went to the store and I had to drop everything that I was gonna buy and leave the store. The line was around the building around. I said, this is not even worth it. I just put everything down and I left. And I said, this is never gonna happen to me again.
right,
So I have water, I have all my, like, cooking oil, water, some food, dry goods, toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, soap, all those kind of stuff. I have them like I used to have them in multiples of, in the garage, in the cupboards, all over
right,
the place. I have them store up. Now I have my chickens and I'm going on to a different level, but I said that's never gonna happen to me again.
right,
Going to the store and people fighting and pushing and all kind of stuff was going on. And
right,
I'm like, I allowed myself to be in this situation. I said
right,
never again.
It was really scary to see that. Like,
Mm,
I went into the stores, and I was happy and smiling because I knew that I had made these plans on accident in 2018. And then I seen some of the concern in people's face, and I felt a sense of sorrow for them, because they didn't have any idea of what could come. And
right,
it just humbled me to actually say, I was warned before and some haven't. And some people,
right,
they're living their life like, this could never happen. like like right now, I see more plane activity, as far as military plane activities, than I've seen in the last month. It's been fighter plane after fighter plane all over Alaska, and I see them, and they're doing all kinds of things, and
I
I'm like,
seen that on your one of your videos I recently watched. Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah.
it's
Mm,
it's
Wow.
it's it's kind of scary, because I see, you hear the sonic boom or whatever, and then you see these six planes and the way they're traveling and stuff. I'm like, what's going on? So, it just, I just, you know, I say a word for my son, because he's the future, and I'm just getting him ready for it. But
Right,
it makes you look at things a little bit differently when you
right,
see things like that.
I had to learn also during this time. Like I was talking to people about, ideas and plans, and the more people you tell, the more they want to talk you out of it. So at this point, I'm not telling nobody nothing. If you're not on my wavelength, you're not in my, what I'm doing, then I'm not talking to you about it, because I don't have time to be talked out of things that I know I should be doing.
right.
So I just keep it to myself.
And like you said, Urban, you had stuff stocked up, and then, you know, this happened, this, and then you got rid of it, and then this came and happened.
mm,
And you experience that uncertainty, you experience it, so it threw you in another position where you're thinking like, what am I going to do? I had this all set up already, and now this happened. Now I have to go there, I have to get in the lines. What if I don't have food? So since you experience that, I'm pretty sure that it would land you in a spot to always be prepared now. So you shouldn't let anyone talk you out of, you know, what you're doing or what your belief is or what you're experiencing.
No, you can't. And it's like
Right,
peer pressure is a very powerful thing. So
right,
sometimes you have to just know that, you know what, you're the lone range, quote unquote, lone ranger, and
right,
people are not ready to hear this conversation, and you just keep moving accordingly. Because if I listen to people, I would not have no chickens right now. I would not have a canner right now. I would not be dehydrating my stuff. I wouldn't be doing any. I wouldn't have had my firearms license. None of that would have been happening if I was
right.
listening to other people. So I had to just focus on what I want to accomplish and seeing all of you guys on YouTube and what you're doing. And I just went ahead and did it. And I tell people when I'm finished. I don't tell them when I'm doing it,
Right.
because why are you doing that for? Why are you getting that for? Why you need to have pews for? This is not. I said, listen, if you come for mine, I'm gonna come for you. That's the way it's gonna go from nowadays. What happened to the old you? I go, she's dead. She dead. She died.
Okay.
She don't live here no more.
All right. Welcome, Jones Shoot. How you doing?
Welcome in, John
Hey
Stewart.
Thank you for
Jones,
being here.
can't hear you,
You,
Good
Jones. You're
night.
you're
on
You not
mute.
mute.
here? Wait, let me see if she muted. Okay, all right.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
No,
can hear
we
you.
hear you.
Okay. I was listening to what everyone is saying, but something happened with me. I am a person of faith. I don't have, but I've also learned that sometimes there have been instances where your faith, you say, okay, I'm going to trust God for everything, no matter what happens. And then suddenly dawned on me that's not actually scriptural. I mean, we have to do something. And my idea of prepping was, first of all, getting out of this mode where I just let whatever happens, it's going to happen. And that's just the way it is. And sometimes we get stuck in that mode. And whereas we feel like we can't control anything, but there's so many things we can control if we just get up and do. So I
Yeah.
had to get out of that mode of thinking, and I'm hoping that this strikes home with some people who are, because of your faith, you become so heavenly minded, you are no earthly good.
Yeah,
Why you still need to be able to help the people you love. You still need to be able to provide for them and do things, and in a lot of cases you have to be there to defend them. This is what, for me, prepping, first of all, you have to change your mindset about some things, the way you think.
absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to change your mindset.
Yeah.
It's not about, well, the government owns everything. The government, no, there are some things you can do to protect you and your family. So for me, the first step is to get out of a certain, what is it? Comfortable. Is that a good word? Comfortable or complacent mindset, and realize that there are some things we can't control. I can't control the price of groceries, but I can grow my own groceries where I don't have to pay as much. So everything has a cause and effect. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times the first step to prepping is changing your mindset. That's just my opinion.
Wow, you know what? Thank you for that
Yep.
message because listen me, that's really interesting, and I hope people actually listening for honestly to what you know, see, because that mindset that you sit down waiting, no, you got to get up and do what you got to do.
Right. It doesn't mean my faith is any less stronger or any
No,
Right,
no,
less committed. That's not what that means. So
no,
we
I
have to
right.
understand.
separate that. What is it? Sometimes we get into this either traditional or just mindset where we get it twisted. That's the best way I
Right.
can say it. We get it twisted. So first of all, we got
Or
to
misinterpret the scripture.
untwist the head. When you untwist and get the mindset right, then you can find your path. And you can find your path because for me, my mom had a garden when I was smaller, and she grew everything, peppers and greens, the whole thing. It was a small, like about 12 by 10 foot garden, but she had a little bit of everything out there. And I remember that. So when I finally got my mind untwisted, which was about a year ago, it suddenly dawned on me, I know what she did, but there were so many things I lost. And that's another danger. You can lose so much. And so now I've had to go back and relearn a whole lot of things. Yes, I have the canner. I have a dehydrator. I can do that. But with me, it was just the idea of getting back comfortable doing the things that I was taught. You know, yeah, you know.
And nothing's wrong with that.
No?
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't mean
Right.
you're a failure. Doesn't mean you're any less. It just means sometimes we just need to wake up.
Right.
Wow.
And that's it.
Right.
You know, something planted that the lady just said about faith. But the end of that statement says faith without action is dead.
There it is.
That's
Faith
it.
without
That's
works
So
is dead.
you having faith and not putting it into action, it doesn't it amounts to zero.
That's it.
Exactly.
It amounts to zero. So that's the thing. We have to, faith becomes like the knowledge, but if the knowledge is not complete without action.
Exactly.
Yes.
I
So
totally.
that was really a step that we all had to do. And it's one of the hardest things
Ooh,
to untwist our mind as to why we need to prepare. So that is just so right on point. If we do not change our mindset, we will be caught in the same situation or even worse.
Oh, yes.
Why would we want to go with our begging plate to the government for a week worth of food or 2 days worth of food? And then 2 days later, you got to go back in that 600 line
exactly.
for a
Exactly.
plate of food when you could have taken the time way back when and start slowly in your own comfort, peace of mind.
Right.
You
Exactly.
got to learn to be a little bit more self-reliant and
Right.
really to become awake. Because, like Urban said, you can't tell nobody. You have to declutter your house because if you try to tell people, they think you're crazy. That, you know, you want to prepare stuff. You should put something aside. I know there are family members that I try talking to. They don't want to hear it.
No, they
They
don't.
don't want to hear it. So
I
she's
find
right. Do
sorry, I
your
find it
thing,
both
and I'm going to be prepared to cover myself when you come looking. I'm sorry, but fair warning.
All
we're
right.
both on
That's
point
it.
because this is the problem. We're
All
sleeping.
right.
We're all
Right.
asleep because I find the church put a lot of people to sleep, to be perfectly honest,
Oh my
because
God.
they
Yes.
misinterpret the scripture. And
Oh,
like
yes.
you're like Sister said, Jones, about faith. And you said faith without works is dead. Exactly. People hear the part of the verse and they gone off with half of the knowledge and half of the wisdom and haven't got the complete picture. Faith without works is dead. The
That's
main story in the Bible says Joseph prepared for 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. We don't read the whole story. They read a
yeah.
little one verse
Mm-hmm.
and they have a whole sermon on nothing. I'm tired of the church people being victimized and being victims to the system. And a lot of church
Woo!
people are not ready. And they know the
Power
little
band.
one verse and the one Our Father prayer, and that ain't gonna save you when the people them come and start having their law and army take over and whatever happens. That's not gonna help you.
Exactly. But you
Exactly.
know, the Bible said the same thing. As I was said last week, think of the story of the 10 virgin. Which one you want to be? 5 wise or 5
That's why
foolish?
foolish.
The same
Exactly.
Bible tell you about preparing. Which side of the scale you want to be on?
Yeah, and you also have to remember, you know, they say if you feed a man a fish dinner, he can only eat for
Hmm.
a day. But if you teach him how to fish, he can eat for a lifetime.
Oh,
And,
yes.
and that's the thing. And see, my husband is a pastor, and I knew all this stuff. And a lot of times in our heart, we know it, but we don't act on it. So you become complacent. And what woke me up was COVID. That woke me up. And it was like, Oh my God. You know, it was like a slap in the face. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? You have done absolutely nothing. So now everything has changed. A lot of things I used to have, I got rid of. I'm replacing it with the things I know that I may need. In
Right.
because in case society does whatever society's going to do or whatever,
Mhm.
but I have replaced that. And now my husband, he supports anything I do. As he understands. He knows I'm growing. He laughs at me because I was born and raised in Ohio, and a lot of this country out in the woods and stuff, he thinks he enjoys laughing at me, but he supports whatever I do. And if he knows if I'm willing to try it, he's going to do it with me. And,
Right.
and that's not, and that's to say, but we had to we need to wake up,
Yes.
they say this is a woke society, but see, you have to understand there's differences in that. Okay, that woke is going to have a lot of people dying. There's going to be a
Yep.
lot of dying people because
Yep.
there's no pin. We have become a society of dependence, not in.
Right.
Woo-wee.
Do you
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? We are
Yep.
dependent on the government. We are dependent on this. You have 30 and 40-year-olds that don't know how to take care of themselves. They are dependent on their parents to take care of them because they don't feel like they have to do something. Let me tell you something. I got in a debate with someone the other day and they're talking about, well, you're just not woke. I said, honey, if this is woke, please keep me asleep.
That right there.
Oh
So
man!
right. So right.
Wow!
I had one thing to say. I just got to work. I clock in at 6 o'clock my time. But I just wanted to say, one of the things that I struggled with is because I'm in Alaska. My mom and 97% of my family lives in Georgia, and so I'm not there to help them. And I tell people in the community as far as gardening that we need to try to be prepared. But I haven't got my mom on that. She's kind of getting there a little bit, but I'm trying to push her a little bit more to just have a sense of, you know, 3 months of goods in your home, you
Right,
know,
right,
and basically what that is, that helps her to get over that hump when it's cold where she can't grow food. And that's the gardening portion of, being prepared. It's taking, okay, she's in zone 8, so that means 4 months of that she possibly can't grow outside, maybe 3 or something like that. But for the rest of the time, she should have something stocked up. I
yeah.
went against my wife when it came to the chickens. I got in trouble. She called me everything but a child of God, when I got the chickens. But I did wrong because I didn't ask for permission. I asked
Yeah,
for forgiveness, and that's not who I am. Most of the time, I
right,
ask for permission, but this time it was like, "Hey, look, I'm getting that," and she said what she said, and I said, "I'm sorry, baby," and it is what it is. But I just wanted to make sure that when the chips fall, me being a man
yeah,
and me
Right.
being the man that I am, they're
yes,
going
Right.
to look at me with sadness if I'm not
Right.
there to provide. And I don't
Right.
want to have to go
Exactly.
to desperate measures to provide for my family. I want to
Right.
have things in place so when, that 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 swing of the pendulum happens, we could still sit there and swing with it,
Right.
So that's all I wanted to say. I appreciate y'all. I'm at the second job. I got to get this money. I work 2 jobs so that I can provide, a lot of different things, my goals, and to be able to grow inside. And that means that I have to work 2 jobs. But I love y'all. I love that y'all are doing this. And I'm going to catch the replay and things of that nature. I'm probably going to jump in the comments, but y'all have a good one. Appreciate
Sure
you,
thing.
Plan.
Thank you
Man,
for
good
your
good,
All
good,
night.
right,
input,
good.
y'all.
JG.
Good
Yeah,
night,
you be
GT.
safe
You
out
too.
there.
Right.
Yeah, you be safe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right, peace. All right, guys. If this is a very interesting topic, if you guys can share this live, I'll appreciate it because people need to hear this information. This is a very interesting topic tonight.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for coming up and sharing this information. And let's continue. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I'm doing the prepping in my family. My husband, he's a pastor, but another reason why I guess he's not really concerned, it's not that he doesn't care. It's just that my husband was raised on the farm, planting everything. Matter of fact, he said the year he graduated from high school is when they got indoor plumbing in his house. So he's a
So
true country boy.
he's
He's done
used to that. Exact.
right.
I get
He's
it.
done
I
everything.
get it.
So for him, it's like,
I
okay,
get
well,
it.
so, and
Yeah.
for me, I'm the one, I'm the learner, and he enjoys laughing at me. I go out there and plant something, and I saw a lizard the other day, and he's laughing because I'm running, or something like that. But he does understand, and I'm to the point now where even we have 3 vehicles, and every vehicle has a map, a tarp, and just certain things that I keep in. So when we travel, just in case. It's just in case.
Just in
It
case.
doesn't mean I'm obsessive. It means I'm preparing just in case. Because if you
Right.
look at the sign of the times, you need to be prepared.
Right. I agree.
Yes.
You also have to prepare for the people that are going to come by, and they might just want something to move on. And I think about that all the time too.
Right.
There are people that may come by peacefully and ask for something, have something extra, give it to them and send them on their way. It's that simple, because in all of the comments you want peace. In all of the chaos and the uncertainty, you want peace as much as you possibly can. Give them the little extra and let them go. Mind
Exactly.
you, there are those that are going to come and they're going to want to take over what you got. And you
Mhm.
have to be prepared to hit the bullseye.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
that's just it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my lessons. The guy hasn't called me so I can go to the range.
Don't sleep on it.
No, it's not me. It's him delaying. I think
Okay.
I'm just going to find someone else.
Okay.
All right.
Because that takes practice, a lot of practice. I mean, we've been doing it for a lot of years, but we still go once a month at least and we practice.
Right.
That's what we do. We made that a priority in whatever we're doing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, we really have to. It may seem crazy to some people, as I always tell you guys, but we have to do it. We have no other choice.
Right. You have no other choice. And there's a lot of things in your life where you have not had a choice, but you did what you have to do. This is
Right.
just another one of those things.
Right.
And a lot of times, and for me, because right now things are kind of mellow, this is the time to do it and enjoy the journey, as you do it.
Right.
I'm learning a lot of things. I planted about 20 seeds of different things and went outside, and the rain had rained the labels off of them. So now I have, guess what we're going to be when we grow up. So, but I'm still enjoying the journey because
Right.
it's fun. You know what I'm saying? Make
Right.
it fun. There's a part of it that you have to do. And just remember,
Exactly.
in today's society, if you don't know how to do anything else, these are your greatest weapons, your hands. If you learn how to do, so I was taught, if you learn how to do something with your hands, you will survive.
True.
Mm.
True words.
Oh man, this
I agree.
this is why I wanted to hear opinions, because I mean you guys share so much information tonight. I'm so grateful. Keep going, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
There's
thanks.
people who
I'll
hungry for
step down
this
at the moment
information.
and join the chat.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, okay.
Can I share for a bit, guys?
All right, go ahead, Dominic. How are you
I might.
doing?
I'm under the weather actually, but I'm going to try to go through this.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to expand a little bit on what you had inquired about, about considering prepping. And now, if we're talking about mid-range farming opposed to large farms, we have our ancestors have given us information, and then people use it, like in the farmer Amalek, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So people of the old days in biblical, there were people that would be able to read the signs of the skies. Some usually are females, they're feminine side, they would be intuitive, and other people can actually play with the soil. So that's a form of prepping, to know exactly what the future might hold for us. They wouldn't have been able to know how to store for 7 years with a weed if somebody didn't give them that wisdom. So that plays a role in all of that, in considering prepping. Now there's other types of prepping. I don't know if you're going that way, Mike, where people are thinking worst case scenario, a whole crop is going to be lost. What do we do? What do we have as a backup? Or some people will grow certain types of crops, but they know they're going to have to let it lay for a couple of years before they can do something else on top of that. Just to share a little bit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Makes sense. Thank you. That's the thing. Is so much areas in prep, and like you said, and I've been saying this. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. All it takes is a few couple of years of losing your crop, and just like that, we don't have any seed. Just a few years of losing your crop, what we gonna do? And like you said, if your crop get destroyed, what you prepare to do. These are things to think about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
The frost that just came, a lot of people, even in the last couple of days, they lost some of
Man,
their stuff. It's like you have to
man.
always be growing, and any excess and extra, you have it put aside, whether you're canning
Mm,
it or whatever, how you're going to preserve it, and taking those seeds, because some years you're
right.
not going to have a good production.
Exactly. And do you guys notice that a lot of the stuff that they have in this, because I pay attention to what they're putting out there, and a lot of these things have no seeds in them anymore. Have you guys seen that?
True,
None.
yes.
I wanted to buy a
None.
different variety of grape this year. I have two different varieties already, and I was looking for another one, and everything is seedless. I do not want the seedless one.
Yeah,
Yes, I
everything.
know I can propagate it and grow it from the stem, and that's fine. But I want let me choose. I want the option to do it how I want to do it. So why is it not? Why are the seeds not available anymore? That's my
Well,
question.
you know why.
So
Well,
these
You and
are
I
the things
both
that
know
we got
why.
to pay attention to.
Yep.
the pattern
Everything
is
is
all
being
about.
brought down to GMO. They want us to
Right.
depend on them and if you don't invest in buying plants and seeds and how we're growing our own food, people don't invest in that. They look at me, why you buying tree? Like they look at me like why you wasting your money on that? Will live on for generations. This tree, when
Right.
I'm gone, it's still gonna be here producing food for people. What is
Exactly.
your iPad and whatever gonna do? And 2 years is obsolete because they want us to
Right.
rely on the stores, and we cannot find the seeds pretty soon. And you watch, you cannot find a grape with a seed in any store. I tried.
Right.
Cannot
Grape,
find it. You have to go
grapes
buy
with
your own grapevine.
seeds. Grapes with seeds.
Yep. You cannot find no grapes with seeds.
Well,
You can barely find a
I
watermelon with
need.
seeds.
Yeah, I wish I could send you some of the grapes we have down here. Everything has seeds down here.
Mm.
Wow.
Right.
And even I mean, we
And
invested a lot in fruit trees. I mean, if you guys have seen any of my orchard videos that I put up there, I mean, we've invested a lot in them, and I want my kids to have access to it. I want my grandkids to have access to it. And imagine this year I've seen for the first time the weather came and hit my peaches, my all my peach bloom, and out of the six different variety of peaches I have, all were gone. Okay, so this is what we're working with. And when I mention and I tell people, think about and prepare to grow something indoors. I'm not telling you to grow a whole peach tree in your house. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying prepare to
mm-hmm.
grow your food indoors, because if this is happening out there and we have no control over it, I'm not speculating anything. I'm just saying I don't have any peaches to pick from my trees this year and I had no control over it. That's all I'm saying. So plan to do something
Correct.
different. Plan to grow
Right.
something indoors that you can survive off of, something fresh. I don't want to always eat some preserved food. This is I mean, me having to do that, I feel like I'm losing a lot of nutrition if everything I'm eating is preserved. I mean, if that's what I have to do, that's what
Correct.
I
Yeah.
have to do. But at the end of the day, if
No
we can,
enzymes. It's dead.
right, if we can practice to grow indoors, you don't have to grow everything. Sometimes you may want to eat something and you can't grow it indoors. Grow something that you can actually get nutrition from indoors that would thrive indoors and grow indoors. I grew beans indoors
Yep.
and I did it as an
People
experiment. So these are the
people have
things
to
that I'm doing
understand that
now to practice,
you have to,
you know?
exactly, you have to practice, because people wait
Right.
until, oh, that's the easy thing, I can just do it when it time come. No, I've been growing
No.
indoors since January, and I've had two
Right.
aphid infestations. You know how
Right.
frustrating? If I had to rely on only my indoor crops, I would be
Mm-hmm.
up a creek right now. You have to learn
Right.
the skills now while it's not essential, while you're not under the stress, and how to deal with, because you will get bugs in your house. There's a lot of problems that come with the fertilizer balancing, the pH balancing. There's a whole thing, a skill that you have to learn. So don't wait until you're
Mhm.
starving to say, I'm gonna go try growing some food indoors. You're gonna have to learn that now when it's calm and peace. Like Sister
Right.
Joan said, while it's calm right now, now's the time to do it, because people think, oh, it's just easy. I just put a seed there and it's gonna grow. Not everything
Right.
grows that
No,
easily.
it's not. It's
We
not.
know that, but they don't know that.
And even with me, I grow, I don't do the hydroponics, but I grow in soil, like literal soil
Hmm.
that I take outside from my garden. And I've struggled since then. I started in February and I have to have grow lights and have them at the window and make sure I don't water them too much. So it doesn't matter
Exactly. And
which
have a
way you're
fan. And
doing it, you're always gonna come up with some type of issue that you're gonna have to fix or adjust to or redo or something,
correct.
Exactly,
so
exactly. And like you said, it now is the time to do it. When it's calm, now is the time to make mistakes. Now is the time to ruin stuff. Now is the time for your stuff to die. Now is the time to do all that. What you're doing is you're gaining experience, you're gaining more knowledge, you're gaining a better ability to do these things if something happens. Now, I don't grow directly in the ground because uh, bad back, so that's not going to work with me. But I do have the elevated beds, and I have grow bags, and I have, I set them up on. I found some wooden pallets. I set them grow bags on the wood, so I have all this. But still, I do plan to learn how to grow inside using the hydroponics. But you try everything and then you'll find out what works best for you, what's more lucrative for you, what is going to give you the greatest yield, but you still need to know more than one way.
right.
You understand?
Exactly.
Because
More
I
if
than
mean,
like
one
if,
way.
if there's absolutely no electricity, you need
right.
to know that you
Figure
can
out.
put something
Oh
in a
yeah.
pot or something and grow it.
Yep. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody for doing anything a different way to how I do it. All I want to know is that everybody is doing something. Because
Something.
if you're not doing anything over there, I know you're coming because you're watching me. So stay over there and do something.
I do
Hmm.
understand. I agree totally. Don't just watch my garden.
Right.
Yeah. I'm blessed that I know of about 3 or 4 neighbors around me who also they just grow a few things, but they're growing some things, and we're
Right.
always trading and stuff like that. And
That's
my
good.
neighbor, she brought me she said she brought me some plants out of her garden, but what she
Right.
did, she would kind of just pull them up with by the roots. And I know enough to know that she should have at least took some of the soil like you would,
Oh,
transplant a pot in to do it.
yeah.
And so she gave me this beautiful, what is it, a squash plant. And the poor thing is just dying. It's dead. So
Oh no.
because I put it in a pot and, tried to get it back to life. So It's not growing, but what I may do is just trim it down to just above the soil and let the roots possibly take hold what little there is, and maybe
Right.
something else will come up. But you still have to try something, do something.
I agree.
And
Yep.
besides, it's the most peaceful, satisfying thing you could ever do.
I agree. Yes.
Yep.
I talk about it all the time. I talk
Oh
about
yes.
it's a place where I could go and relax and have a peace of mind.
Yep.
You know,
Yes, indeed.
and just have fun doing it. That's the thing. Have fun doing it. Even a plant die, don't worry about it. Replant the next one.
Right.
Just have fun. Don't get
And that's why,
discouraged.
in that case, that's why I don't care what anybody say. I'm saving seeds every year. Every
Listen,
year.
me, I'm not stop saving seed. I'm telling you, I
Well,
will.
this, yeah.
Go
Go
ahead. Go
on.
ahead.
Go ahead. Well, this is my first year gardening, so uh, I'm just growing things, but I kind of got a little seed happy because I have a case about this big. I know
Look
I
at
have probably
GT Junior. You
right. Yeah, I
have
probably
all the
have like
seeds.
over 100
And Max
packs.
Chaotic Gardening.
Yeah,
Oh, Mike, yep.
yeah. I got
Him
so
and his wife
excited.
buy the whole other store there.
Yeah, I
And
got.
his wife is
Buy the
on
whole
board
store.
with him. So I don't
Yeah,
know. I
she
don't
got
know
the
which
whole store
one's
for her
worse, if
husband.
it's Mike or his wife.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
go to
So
that
I
store,
got
nothing
a
left.
little happy. So because I figure if I and another thing I thought about, if I mess all this up, at least I'll have some more seeds to go back and replant that way. So we do it
Don't
that way.
worry, GT can help you and Mike can help you. They have all the
Yep.
seeds,
Listen, GT's
They
in
have
the
all the
chat
all the
saying,
seeds.
I
seeds in all
heard
of the
They
seeds.
US.
have all
Yep,
the seeds.
yep.
If I can share,
Why would
guys,
them
just
have the seed and buy more seeds? Same way. You watch. Just don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
Sure, go
Dominic,
ahead.
you saying something?
yeah, no problem. I was just waiting. For me, the issue's never been the few, whether it's the few people that are feeding the masses or the few that are trying to be the steward of the land. It's the masses. Most people have become so lazy. I think the young lady was talking about it earlier. They never understood interdependency. They've never been independent unless you want
Right.
to take your chance with nature, and then you become interdependent with nature. And people forget we're supposed to be the steward of the lands. We're not supposed to own it. And the people that actually do play with it, they use names like rulers. They're not the owners of the land. But
No,
people, regardless if somebody rules the land, you're still able to work the land. But most
Right.
people don't. So when a society that we're in now, people want to become doctors and lawyers, it just means that you don't know how to take care of yourself and you don't know how to deal with your own affairs. We've become, overall, with the masses, a lazy society. Now, for the people such as I'm hearing on the panel, you're trying to keep things alive, which I'm very grateful to hear that. But to think that GMO is the problem? No. Most people will go to grocery stores and not realize everything in that grocery store, what's the lesser of all evils? The animals have probably been killed out of honor. I mean, without honor. The fruits have been pre-picked. So now for them to keep feeding the masses that don't want to do it for themselves, they're going to have to give them generic kind of stuff. And they have nobody else to blame but themselves. But then they have to
True.
be
That's
honest with
true.
themselves. Sorry, guys. I won't go on about that.
oh
That's
no,
true.
no,
No,
that's a true
I mean,
statement.
this is important. This
Yeah,
is an important topic, and what your input is, it needs to be highlighted because you're
Yeah.
speaking facts. Like, we need this information, we need to discuss this. So I appreciate you, definitely appreciate you saying this
Yes, I
because we
appreciate.
overlook a lot of things.
yeah, yeah. I was looking at an article and they said if there was ever a point in time where like we would lose all electrical power or the grid would go down, the whole country, everything would go down, and we were left to just start over. They said because of what people don't know, the survival rate of the United States, well, approximately 80 to 90% of this country would die.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
That's a lot.
frightening fact if you think about it.
It
Or they'd be
So
is.
looking,
you're talking
or they'd
about
be looking for
because
chocolate and pop.
yes, yes,
It
we're
is.
looking for chocolate and soda.
Mhm.
They said because the bottom line is we don't know how to take care of ourselves. And that's the thing we need to start teaching. I remember once upon a time, even in the school systems, they used to teach you how to cook. They taught you all kind of little things, a little
The
gardening,
4-H club,
a little,
yeah.
a
Oh
little
my
things like that,
gosh.
sewing and those things. And then now that's all gone. And
Right.
so now you have these entitled people going around thinking that
Entitled is the
you,
word. Yeah.
yeah, you're required to take care of me because of who I am. And that to me is just crazy. I am not entitled to take, I am not, it is not my job. Every person on this planet has a purpose and has a job, and you need to know yourself to know what that is. And there is nothing wrong with you learning a skill that could not only benefit you but benefit your family,
Right.
because it's not all I, me, my, mine.
Right.
Right. But I agree with what he said. This society has become lazy, entitled, um, narcissistic, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're being polite by saying they're narcissistic. They're also psychopaths and sociopaths. But what about the people that hang out with them? What kind of person are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well, see,
I,
you have to understand, you will find more followers than leaders now. There's a lot more
Mm-hmm.
followers than leaders now. Look at TikTok. One person has 30 million followers. Now
Right.
remember, now that's a good word, followers. So if
Right.
someone says one thing bad about this person, 30 million people will attack. You're a follower. You're not a leader. You're not thinking for yourself. We don't teach critical thinking anymore. We
Right.
don't teach how to think for yourself anymore. We teach follow the leader.
in old days,
Yeah.
when people didn't have information, knowledge was important.
Yes.
We've forgotten to look for wise counsel.
Come on.
People have forgot wisdom. You know, knowledge can only get you so far. It's just one step above belief systems. But to have discernment, to know what purpose does that serve me. Judgment is usually the ego talking. But so when people get wise counsel, where a person will say, okay, I've read the sign in the sky, this is when you do your crops. That's wise
That's wisdom.
counsel.
That's wisdom.
Yes.
Yes.
But knowledge would be somebody just told me. So now you know about it. Doesn't mean they understand it. Now we're talking about understanding, right? So this is why when they talk in the biblical story, what is the bright light and what is it dividing? It's dividing the tree of knowledge from the tree of life. Tree of life is wisdom and understanding. Knowledge is just the spiritual and material world. Hence the word good and evil. But again, until people become aware of that from within themselves, what they're going to do is they're going to be looking for the external world to give them their satisfaction. But how many people actually ever live outside of their vessel in one lifespan?
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
I don't think people are even thinking that deeply. They're just thinking about what's for dinner tomorrow. They're not
Oh
even
my gosh.
thinking
I'm
We
telling
along
you, like
those lines or on that level. Literally.
Yeah.
common
And
sense, common sense.
we're
Go
talking about
ahead.
teaching common sense. That shouldn't have to be taught. That should be an innate skill. But we're so entertained on our phone and tap tap swipe swipe. That's all we do. Well, not we, but some people. All they're doing is watching on a video or something, and they don't understand how to sit down and even have a conversation. They don't. There's no
Right.
human contact. And I
I'm
agree with what you're saying about the foods, but it's like we also are our own problem because we're not buying the stuff that we know is better for us. We don't want to spend the money.
right.
So
Right.
we are supporting the bad farming practices financially.
Right.
And then we're complaining
Right.
about it in the same breath.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like
Put
you
the
said,
money where you want it to be spent.
yeah, but like you said, there's the difference between wisdom and knowledge. You can know a lot, but if you don't know how to apply what you know, you're still lost.
That's
Right.
You're lost. Let me give you a good example of that. And then I'm going to stop talking.
no.
um,
Go
I
ahead.
went to my son and his friend. We had dropped them off at their college dorm, and so they didn't have a lot of things. So my husband and I said, "Well, we'll get you some supplies, and the rest of your supplies, and we'll come back tomorrow." We went back the next day, and we went into the dorm room, and I said, "You all have a really large dorm room." I said, "So how do you?" And they had this huge shower. Say, "How did you like? Whoa, what happened? What happened? I don't know what happened. Can you all still hear me? Okay." It said,
Yeah, we
I
hear
said,
you.
"How did you like the huge?" Yeah, I said, "How did you like the huge shower?" So his roommate says, "I didn't shower." I was like, "What do you mean you didn't shower? What'd you do? Take a sink bath or whatever?" It's like, "No, we didn't bathe at all." And so I'm looking at him like, Okay. So it ended up being funny, but not funny. I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, wait a minute. You're telling me we dropped you off
Nasty.
yesterday
Sorry.
morning. This is a whole new day, and you all have not bathed. Could you please explain to me why? He was like, and he looks at
They
me
like the
and
whole
he's like,
germs. They like the
yeah,
germs.
right, right. I was like, and you know what he tells me? No one in the dorm has bathed. What? I said, what's going on? So I'm thinking, well, maybe they hadn't turned on the water. He's like, the water is brown. I said, what do you mean the water is brown? He said, go in the bathroom and look, the water is brown. I'm not taking a bath in there. So I went in there and looked. Oh, so I'm like, okay, did you all know that if water sits in sinks and drains for long periods of time, it turns brown?
Yeah, you gotta run it
But
out.
if you let it,
You gotta run it
but
for
if
5
you
minutes.
let it run, the water will be clear again. And then I promise you, they're looking at me like, boom, an amazing thing just happened.
So
I'm- okay,
nobody called their
in.
parents. Nobody
Right,
called their
right.
parents and said, "Hi, the water's brown. What do I do?" No, I'm not
Yes,
gonna bathe
no
for 6
one.
Don't take a
months.
shower.
I'm not gonna bathe for
Nobody.
6 months. I'm
Nobody.
gonna get gnats
And
and
it's like,
cockroaches and lice. Oh yeah, I'll get
so
some
I
ticks
went
too while
yeah,
I'm at it.
exactly. I said, go in there and turn the water on and let it run. And so he went in there, and after maybe about 3-4 minutes, whatever, the water's beautiful. It's clear. I was like, there's nothing wrong with the water.
It's old
By this
pipes.
time,
It's old pipes.
I mean, my husband is crying. My husband is laughing so hard he can't even see. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God. I'm thinking, have I failed you all somewhere? But so it's that kind of things that we were taught, and we just, we kind of figure it out. We know, because I said, you mean you weren't curious enough to just go in there and just let it run? No.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Some things we weren't taught, but we're just
Not
curious. Because
thinking.
something my parents
right.
didn't exactly teach me. But I said, I tried this, I tried that, and they taught me how to trust my instincts and troubleshoot. I would never ever go without bathing. That's not even an option. So I would have to have a solution.
So
And then
that's what
so
shocked me.
proud.
The
Nasty,
entire
just
dorm.
cheap.
It was a boys' dorm. No one showered for 24 hours.
I knew it was boys. It could never be a lady. It could never be a lady do that. Never a lady do that.
Ladies, can I
We all
give you
use no
an
bathing.
insight?
Sure.
Can I give you an insight on that? When you're gardening, for example, we forget as humans that we think our feeding is always done through the mouth. It's done through the body. So when you're out there out in the sun, you're absorbing sun. When you're out there grounding yourself by touching the earth, there could have been a couple of young boys that understand there's fluoride in that water. And when you put that on your skin, it absorbs. Then people wonder why they get into disease mode. Now, I'm not saying everybody's aware of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And this is where we've been taught cleanliness is important, but also you should be aware, what am I cleaning? This is why, again, if a person fasts long enough, you'll realize, geez, I've been an addict my whole life because I don't need that much food. Then you realize after so many days, well, probably around 21 days, you don't even give up body odor anymore.
Right.
And then you can actually get in a true state of meditation, which is listening from within. This is why we use the concept of peace. Peace just means silence. But the ego's always chattering. I got to eat. I got to eat. I got to grow crops. Yes, true. You do got to grow crops. You got to give energy for energy. Hence what we used to barter. So without knowing that, Joy, that's your name. I apologize if I mispronounced it. There's a good chance that there could have been some boys that realized, people say, I don't drink fluoride. I said, but you shower in this stuff, don't you? I said, yes. What does fluoride actually serve the purpose for the vessel? Most people won't be able to answer that question, let alone will they understand what a germ is or isn't. This is where people have to go inwards. We have words like intuitive, insightful, and all that. Most people just go to university to become scholars, which is okay. They can learn all that, but they're never going to be our leaders of the world.
Right.
Our leaders of our world have to be the wise people. I don't care if it's a feminine or masculine, and they can come in the form of a female or a male. Anyway.
Sorry, you're saying all of our leaders are wise?
No, far from it.
No,
far from it. They're puppets on a string.
I'm like,
the difference between
I'm like, whoa. I don't see some of that, but yeah.
No, we're not going to see none of that unless we actually, the masses, start becoming aware and then realize what we're fighting against. Until then, people are just fighting in a paper bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all I know is when I stick my hands in that dirt, it is so satisfying. I don't know what it is. It's so satisfying.
You're
Yeah,
connecting to
it
nature.
is.
Connecting.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes because the way I do my soil, the way I walk my soil and what I put inside of the soil. When you smell the soil, it's like you smell life. I'm telling you, the way it smell and the way it feel is like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a wonderful thing. It really is.
They say
It
that the
is.
soil has bacteria in it that helps with mood and prevents depression.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
believe it
There's,
because when you people who start gardening and a change that happens in their life, it's it's you don't need no
yeah.
medicine. Well, not everybody, but you have a healthier, more balanced life, and
Yeah.
it's because they're connecting back to nature, and like Dominic said, grounding in the sun and that kind of thing. You have to
Yeah.
connect back to nature.
Yeah, I remember back in the 60s and everything when a lot of times uh, I remember people they would never they did not like their children to be dirty, so they kept them clean, and they were wondering why the kids stayed sick, and the bunch of ladies got together just told they said the reason why your children are sick because they don't play in the dirt. Throw them outside and let them play in the dirt because that's all we know.
Correct.
Barefoot in the dirt in the soil, we rarely got, I don't even
It
hardly
builds your
remember
immune
getting sick.
system.
Yeah. And so she finally they made her feel so bad she literally put her kids out there and let them run in the dirt, and they were the healthiest they had ever been because they were just going back to the natural things. And so because I mean
Hmm.
I don't I mean, even though I lived in the city where we lived, we still had the yards with the grass, and there's so many kids. They just run all the grass down, so there's nothing but dirt. And we spent a lot of time barefoot, and then we were surrounded by wooded areas down in the woods doing everything. We were healthy because we were doing it. It was not unusual for us, and some of you all probably used to do this, to find wild apple trees in the woods and just sit there and eat all as many apples as you
Mm-hmm.
can,
Mm-hmm.
or grapes, or anything.
Blueberries, all the
Yes,
different berries, the
blueberries.
wild berries. I
Yes,
still
yes,
do it. I still
yes.
do it.
Yes, and so there, I mean, that's the good stuff. That's the natural stuff, everything. So,
Hmm.
uh, but until we get that, and that's why, and see what they have been finding in one area report, and I know it down here. Literally see it. They have put so much stuff in the foods. You find a lot of young men now with boobs that should not have boobs.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
too
saying?
much
Okay,
estrogen,
okay,
too much
We're
soy.
talking
Yeah,
about we're
okay,
talking about skinny young men. I'm not
narcissist.
talking about heavy. I'm talking about thin young men. And so
okay.
they're finding out is something that is the stuff they're putting in the food. So a lot of things you
Yep.
have to do this. So there's nothing wrong with natural. Actually, natural is helping. Some people say, well, if I start eating stuff from the garden, it's going to make me sick. No, that's your body going into shock because it actually has something pure in it. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
exactly. They're not used to
Continue
it.
to eat it and you'll be fine.
Wow. Did
This
you
is what
guys
I'm
see what?
saying. A lot of people have fruit trees in their yard and not eating from them. I
Right.
see it with my own eyes.
Oh no.
They
Mm-mm.
drop on the
Yep.
ground,
The squirrels eating
rotten,
it. Yeah, I
and
see
they
that.
go to the store and buy their fruits. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe
I see
that.
it all the time
Yeah.
I look, if I had fruit
because we
trees,
don't
the
want worms
squirrels
in our
probably
fruits.
wouldn't get a
We
chance.
don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding? There's nothing better than stuff that just growing. Just let it is. I mean, the squirrels would probably not have a chance if I had a fruit tree because I'd beat them to it. Because I wouldn't even let them get completely ripe on the. I'd take them and
Nope.
then let them ripen in the house. Yeah.
Get it right on the
Yeah.
ground. Yep.
Did
These
you
squirrels
guys?
are
Okay, there it
diabolical.
is on the screen.
It's
Dominic.
called We Will Get the Fire.
Well,
Oh,
that's in public parks. I don't think it's just anywhere. I'm in Canada, but it's people are doing it in parks, city parks.
wow.
True.
Okay,
Very
gotcha.
true. My wife just
Yeah,
informed
you
me
can't
of
just
that
go
a
into a
while
park
back.
and start. taking stuff and going home and cooking it.
But we do. But we do.
They're damaging.
Yeah.
I think those mushrooms are good for one of the pollinators. I can't remember what they were saying, but it's ruining the ecosystem when everyone's going to the park and just taking stuff. So like if you're foraging like in the wilderness, yes, but not in the parks.
Yeah.
They don't
You
want
know
that.
how expensive, well, depend on where you live, pronounce it pecans or pecans. You know how expensive they are. The town I used to live in Centerville, you could literally just walk down the street and pick them up because everybody had pecan trees in their yard. It was like nothing. So a lot of things when I lived down there, I didn't have to buy because people were growing them. They were just like normal fig trees in the backyard, apple trees. You just walk it. I mean,
Wow.
People I noticed, because we're talking about prepping. My parents' neighbors, both of them moved away on both sides because they're elderly, so they are now going to
right.
homes. And the new owners came in, and before they kind of looked at the landscape and kind of see what's going on, they just chopped down everything. Chopped down apricot tree, chopped down everything's just been chopped down. So you buy a house and you can't just let the trees them or see what you want to keep and kind of nope. The whole flower bed was removed. Everything was just dug up and everything's removed. And we're sitting there thinking, all those years the tree finally get to a point where it can, really produce, and somebody just comes and chops it down. Nobody cares about
That's
that
crazy.
anymore. They want to just go to the store and buy their food.
I agree.
Unfortunately.
A lot of people actually, you know, since before the pandemic, I've been encouraging people to grow food. Since before the pandemic, since I've been posting videos, save seed, since 2015 around there. I've been posting videos, save some seed, learn to grow your food, because I already know times is coming where if you don't want to catch yourself with your pants down, you wanna be prepared. You wanna learn to do stuff that you could provide for your family. It's important.
Right.
But what really made me start posting is I hear a young man was saying he never saw a pepper tree. He actually never saw the tree. All he do, he know pepper from the supermarket. That really touched me when the guy said that. It touched me. I said, my goodness, is this for real? You never. That really touched me. And that's when I start to post video and start encouraging people, guys, learn to grow something. And I keep doing it unto today. I'm still doing it unto today. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I understand the growing and the planting part. My problem, my
All
problem
right,
came.
I'm in the Lord.
Yeah,
Go
my
ahead.
problem came with the meat thing. The meat, because when I first moved to Mississippi, my in-laws, they were like, they do pretty much everything natural. You get deer meat, you get wild hog, you can get pretty much anything, and but I tried. I said, well, I want to be brave. I want to try. I said, I want to see chicken processing. And they didn't do it. So I said, I'm going to go online. I want to see them process a chicken. I'm thinking about getting some chickens. I was excited. I watched that video. And when they cut that chicken's head off, I passed out. So I was like, okay, no chickens for me. That was so you still have to know your limitations.
I'm not laughing at you, but it's
right. And my husband laughed at me so hard. He was like, Sheila, no, just stick with the vegetables, honey. Just leave the chickens alone. It's like, no. He's like, you cannot handle it because you were not raised around that stuff. He was used to them doing the hog. They would do hogs and give them to the neighbors and the friends and all. He was raised there. He's like, no, Sheila, don't try it. He said, stick with your vegetables, honey. He said, because I can't keep picking you up if you pass out.
Oh
I I saw it. That's why they said don't give them names. Don't name them. They're not your pets. They're not here
Yeah.
for that. And you get so upset as a kid. Why? Where's Brownie? Where's my favorite goat? She's gone now.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
this video of this lady petting these beautiful bunnies, and she was just talking and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, she took a lead pipe and bashed them in the head. I almost had a fit because I was like, oh my God, what'd she do that for? I'm freaking out. And okay, she's cooking the rabbits. I was like,
Yep.
I thought they were
Rabbits.
pets.
Oh, man.
You
So the
know,
stuff
yeah,
you're not
it's
used
not a
to,
pet. Yeah, it's not a
yeah,
pet.
you got to have a lot of sense of humor with some stuff. Just know what you can do and what you cannot do.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do.
we harvest our own meat birds, our own chickens, and our own turkey. We do it ourselves. My husband and I, we do it ourselves.
Okay.
And we grew up around that stuff. We grew up doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we were exposed to that stuff. And I never ever take it lightly to be able to do that to
Yeah.
this day. You
I
know, I appreciate the fact that I can do it. I know how to do it. I was exposed to it. But taking a life so that you can survive, because that's how we choose to eat. We choose to eat meat.
right.
And that's okay. That's what we choose to do for now. And I never take it lightly.
Right.
So
I
when
have
this
I have
thing
much respect for that. Believe me, I have much respect for that.
right. Yeah.
That's when I found out that living in the city, when I did come to the country, I missed so much. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I missed when it comes to like surviving and taking care of you. I learned so much since I've been in Mississippi. I've been here for 28 years. When after I married my husband, I moved here, and I learned so much, and it still amazes me. And I've learned that a lot of people know so little, you
Mhm.
know, when it comes to food
Disconnected
and
from the
right,
disconnected. Yeah.
right, totally disconnected.
We think it
Wow.
literally comes in a cellophane package with a label on it. We have no concept that it had legs and wings and whatever, depending on what animal it is you're talking about. It had some fur. Like,
Right.
we have no concept of how it goes from A to B.
Exactly. Well, that
And
was
it's
used to
like,
be
yeah,
me.
it has innards that you got to clean out too,
Right.
and they
That
don't
used
get
to
it.
be me.
When the
When I,
when the pandemic hit and there was no meat in the shelves, and my friend and I were laughing because we know about chicken foot and chicken back and all them different
Right.
parts, so we know how to cook that and make a meal. These two ladies
Right.
who are not Caribbean were like standing there lost because all it was chicken breast. That's all it all they know is chicken breast and maybe a leg and a thigh.
yeah,
About
or
chicken foot
wing.
and chicken back and gizzards and turkey neck, and they don't know nothing about that. So all the Caribbean people
Woo.
just went to the shelf and grabbed the turkey neck and the chicken foot and the neck, all the other parts that nobody wants. We buy up the
Right.
shelf and walk out and left the store because we know how to cook that kind of food. They had literally
Exactly.
Right.
no clue of what to do with a back and a foot.
Yeah,
And I was
exactly.
just
That
like, poor
that
thing,
used to be
poor
me.
girl.
I promise you that used to be me because when I first moved here, my sisters-in-law said, "Well, how do you get your food?" I was like, "From the produce section of the grocery store." So that was all I knew. So, but we have to we have to expand that. I promise you, because I mean, I felt like when I started learning a lot of stuff, I felt like a complete idiot. I felt like, okay, Sheila,
No, you're not
you
an idiot.
really
It's just
weren't.
you weren't, you weren't
I felt like
exposed.
I had
Yeah.
left the planet and just got back.
I had to go back to Jamaica and learn what the trees look like to distinguish sycamore tree from avocado, like to know what they look like because I was so out of it and I couldn't recognize, soursop leaf and the different leaves. Each one has a distinct look, but if you're not around it and all you know is grocery store, you lose touch. You have to go back and recognize each different plant, how they look. And this is not a weed. This is actually, something. And because in Jamaica things kind of grow all in each other, not separate like a nice neat garden with rows. It's all
Right.
intercrop with each other, and you think it's just weeds. It's not weeds. There are herbs. There's tea leaf in there, all kind of bush in there. They call it
Right.
all bush, but it's not bush. It's distinct things,
It's
and he has
food.
to just learn it.
They call it a food
You have to
forest
learn it
here.
what it is.
Yeah, food forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to know all that. I had to learn it, and once you start learning it, it's you recognize the plant. Oh, okay, that's Cinco Bible. That's this. That's that. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. You could recognize it right away, and cactus and
Mm.
what they're good for. But you have to become a student of nature. Once you come
Mhm.
off of the city life and get back to nature, your whole
Right.
mindset, as you said before in the beginning, your mind shifts, and
Yes.
everyone's mind right now is on technology and city life and cell phone and TV. They have to
Big
connect back to nature.
distraction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Ohio, we had a lot of wild trees growing around here. I never knew what they were. And when my husband, when he and I were courting, he came to Ohio, and we were walking one day, and we took this shortcut through this road, and he was like, Sheila, isn't that a such and such tree, or isn't that a such and such tree? And I looked at him, I said, look, I'm from the city. They're trees. Are they green? They're trees. That's all I know.
I
So
see
that's
trees
all
of
I know.
green,
Yeah.
red
Hey,
roses
it
too.
was, it was
Mm.
it was the summertime, and everything was blooming, and it was green, and stuff like that. And so I was like, I saw green leaves and a trunk. It was a tree. So so I had to learn. Oh my gosh, I was literally a kid. I mean, in this knowledge, when I moved to Mississippi, I literally knew nothing.
Hmm.
Nothing.
But
And
you're
after
willing
20,
to learn. Your mind is open.
yes, and after
That's all that
28
matters.
years, I'm
Yeah.
still learning. I'm still learning. You never stop learning. And
Right.
I
And
constantly, yeah, and I constantly tell people, don't get away from me with that. I'm too old to change, or I'm too old to learn. Get away from me with that.
you gonna change by force.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, get away from me. I mean, you can
Yep.
count me out of that, because you are
Right.
never too old to learn anything.
Exactly.
If you leave your mind and your heart open, and sometimes you just have to embrace the experience. You really do. You have to just embrace the experience. And life is a journey. Life is an amazing adventure if you open your
Mhm.
mind up. It's amazing,
Yeah.
Right.
unless you're stuck in a tunnel. But it's amazing.
That is true.
I
You
think that's
open
also
up.
part of being prepared is being able to shift with each situation and adjust and make, some decisions on the cuff, because it's not always going to work out exactly to your plan. Even if you're
It's
prepared,
not.
Right.
things will happen
Right.
not to your plan. How can you quickly adjust and make some decisions? And all that
Right.
knowledge and wisdom that you kind of know, and what people call useless knowledge and facts and things, or may help you decipher
Mhm.
what's this and what's that, and to make a decision. Because you can prepare from here to kingdom come. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen by. It's like when people do self defense. Oh, don't come at me that way. I can only defend when you come at me this way. You can't tell the
Oh,
robber how to come
really?
and rob you. You can't tell the robber how to come and rob you. He's gonna come and rob
Right.
you. You have to know how to
Yeah.
defend yourself. Yeah, I find it hard.
Right.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
no. I'm there on my left side. Listen, he's not gonna come on your strong side. He's gonna come on the weak
Right.
side. You have to
I think
defend
the
it.
word
Period.
you're
If
looking
you can,
for
you
is,
can.
yeah. I think the word you're looking for is adaptability. We have to adapt. We
Right.
have to be able
Adaptability.
to learn. Mhm.
You
Yeah,
have to
we
be
have to
quick on
be.
your feet.
Yeah,
You got to be able to read people quickly, because sometimes people
exactly.
fool you and they act like they're for you and they're not really for you. Like, you know, you
Yeah,
have to be
yeah,
able to. Not everybody's your friend. Not everybody's out, you know, here to help you. There's sometimes we're talking about people who are watching those who are preparing and they want to come and take your stuff. They're not coming and
Mhm.
right.
asking, and everyone has their own viewpoints and their own standard. That's fine. But part of preparing is understanding that if your life and your safety is threatened, I'm not being nobody's victim. That's not scriptural. And I have seen no scripture to stand there and be nobody's victim. So I'm not going to be
Exactly,
nobody's victim. I'm not out here starting stuff and breaking laws and being uncivilized. But if you come and try to hurt me, I'm going to do what I have to do. Point blank,
exactly,
period.
Yeah.
And that's part of being
exactly.
prepared. And it's your mindset. Because if you're not prepared mentally to defend yourself, you don't, doesn't matter how strong or weak you are, you won't have
Right. And
the stomach to do it. You won't have the stomach to do it. So you have to kind of
right.
learn that now. If you can't take a
Right.
chicken and do what you got to do to prepare it and butcher it, It's not going to just
Right.
come to you. You have to kind of have the
Right.
mindset of, hey, I'm going to
Exactly.
take it and try
I,
it.
and I think that all ties in with what Jones Truth was saying earlier on with their faith. Like, I want her to fly. I don't believe this and I don't believe that. But guess what? If they're coming, they're coming. They have a plan. They have an agenda. They're coming for you.
They're coming for you.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
And they're not sitting here thinking, oh, your morals and your faith and they don't care about that. They don't care about none of that. They
No.
don't care about how
No.
good of a person you are or were.
No.
They don't care. So
The
why should
only
I
thing they
care?
see is what you have.
Exactly. And I'm not going to sit here and fight over a bag of lettuce. I'm not that ridiculous. Have the lettuce. I can grow some more. But when they're
Right.
coming for
Here you
you and your
go. Here
children
is your
and
lettuce.
and their
Yeah.
and your grandchildren, and it's not about taking, they're actually going to hurt somebody. I'm sorry. There's no moral thing that says I should be somebody's victim or punching bag.
Right.
There's no religion that
Cool.
supports that. So you know, I'm not gonna let anybody make me feel bad for defending myself.
Yes.
And that's
I
just the way it's
totally
gonna
agree.
be.
I totally
I'm not
agree.
gonna know when to make me feel bad. I'm not here hurting nobody. I only defend myself. I'm talking about when somebody comes to attack you. I'm not out here stealing from nobody or taking nobody's, I'm preparing on my own and growing my own food and providing for myself. But if you cross that line and try to attack anybody in my circle or family, I'm
Right.
not held by any moral code at that point.
Right.
I gotta
I
do what
mean,
I
some
gotta
people.
do to defend myself.
Right. Some people would just sit back, even with all the signs, they're seeing what's going on. They just want to be lazy and be entitled and all of that. But I mean, where does that? These are the people we got to watch out for. And I'm not saying everybody's going to come to you with violence. That's not what I'm saying. They might come
No.
and ask for something. They might ask for some of your food. And as much as you might have to give them or would want to give them, I would say yes, give them something, but you got to watch them because they may
Yes.
just be coming to see what you have going on. They may not be certain, and that's a move to see, oh, let's see if they got enough. Let's see what they got. They
Yeah.
must have it. If they can give us, then they must have it stored up. You just never know. So a lot comes into
Exactly.
play. A whole lot comes into play because you just never know. I mean, nobody wants, no normal person, I would say, would want violence. But at the end of the day, if you can avoid it, then yeah. But if it comes to you defending yourself, your safety, your livelihood, your life, your family, then when you're in that position,
I
if you get into that position, then you have to do what you have to do
You have to. People
to
are
each
a bit
his own.
naive because they think that everybody's
Right.
like you, like how they are, and they're not. When I went to the store during the one of the days of the pandemic, and the people then were lined up and they were literally trying to push down the door, and the manager could barely open the door against the push of the mob. And he's like, if you don't
Wow.
stop this, I'm gonna close the store down. I'm not gonna sell nobody nothing. And it was a hot, and people were fighting who butt in the line, who was in the line first, and who took whose cart. And I'm thinking, God, we're fighting over cans of food or whatever. This is not like. And I took my stuff and I left. I said, you know what? Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Right. Because it gets
People don't
dangerous.
care. The same nice people that you thought were so nice and friendly, they
Mm-hmm.
turn into a mob.
Yep.
And you have to
Desperation.
be very careful. You can't
Yep.
be naive that, oh, they're, just kill them with kindness. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
because if anything, we are a community of gardeners. I mean, COVID should have taught one thing. Who would have ever thought that in the United States of America you would see people fighting over toilet paper?
Right.
Fighting,
That's true.
fighting over
Yep.
toilet paper. This is the United States. That does not happen here. So, and the thing is, unfortunately, and as an American, we all know it to be a fact. The I guess they say the perspective of most Americans is we are a very arrogant country. very arrogant. We are considered a very arrogant country because we think we're better than anybody else. But if anything, COVID should have showed us, hey, we're just like everybody else. We can have
Right.
problems just like everybody else.
Right.
It's like I hear some people say, I am better than you. Well, just because you have money does not make you better than me. It just makes the fact you have money. That's it. And to me, that's it. That's as
Yeah.
far as I can see. I will never be the type. Your money does not give you power over me. Does not make you better than me. Because when push come to shove, it's one thing about it. It rains on all of us. We
Mm-hmm.
all go through bad weather. It
Mm-hmm.
snows on all of us. We all get sick. We all die. So how can you be better than me? So if we're all going through the same things on this planet, and then why can't we work together to be ready to help each other in case of
Right.
emergency?
True.
Because
Right.
guess what? If society crashes, your $2 million yacht is not going to help you eat. Your your
Right.
your 300-room mansion is not going to feed your family, and your $2
Yeah.
million worth of real estate is not going to give your child the medicine they need because you don't know how to find the correct herb or something basic to help that child. So
Facts.
so how can you say you're better than everybody else because you have money? Your
Right.
money cannot keep you alive. You know what I'm saying? When you die, you die. You're gonna die like everybody
Well, look what
else.
happened during the Katrina. Look at Katrina. The
Yeah,
people
Oh yeah.
it got ugly. It got and
Right.
that happened well before the pandemic. These
Right.
people
oh, let
can
me
turn ugly on you.
yes, I was
And the
in
amount of
Katrina.
violence that happened in that stadium was
Right.
disgusting. The
Mm.
things that was going on in
Yes,
that stadium.
exactly.
Like
Exactly.
we've
And
already seen this, so we have to understand what it means. When people are
exactly.
desperate and not even just desperate. It's not. Some people they're just criminally minded and they take an opportunity and they take the disaster
To
and take
express
advantage of
their
people and
radicalized
children.
behavior. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that point of entitlement that lets you say, because I'm me, I have the right to take it from you. It's that type of foolishness that's
right.
causing us all these
And you
problems.
think
And
that
that's
we're all the same? No, we're not all
yeah,
the same. There's some people who will smile in front of you and they're plotting of how they're gonna, and really have to have as Dominic said, discernment, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because some of the people
discernment.
that you're aligning with may not really have your back, but you have to just
Yeah,
use them
Right.
for the meantime until you can kind of, keep your enemies
Right.
closer, right?
Right.
yeah,
Than your
yeah,
friends, because when they don't know that you caught on to them, then it's kind of like, you can kind of manipulate yourself because they're not out to help you, and they want to rob you. They want to. We've seen it all in the TV shows and in real life, and that has to be in part of your preparedness plan.
Right.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you can look as close as your own family. You see who's preparing, who's not, who's taking it serious, who's not. And
Mhm.
I mean, in the case of desperation, the kindest people can turn violent. The kindest people can become desperate, and so I constantly talk to my family. I don't, because I'm in my family, I'm the only one in Mississippi. All my family is in Ohio. I constantly talk to them about that because they're more city dwellers. So I constantly talk, you should at least have a plan of action or something if
Right.
something goes wrong or something to that effect. I mean, they're not really listening, but I think they're hearing, but they're not listening. But I always pray that words of wisdom do not come back to haunt you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
sometimes then you there's always that statement that goes, I should have listened.
Right.
And that's a dangerous statement because 9 times out of 10 when you say it, it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah. It's way too late. I mean, we have all the signs out there, all the possibilities, all the movies that they're showing us what is possible. And these movies don't come about just by chance. I believe, that's my belief, and it's my opinion. I believe there's a lot to be learned in those movies. When you look at those movies and you think, oh, that's a sick movie, and that movie this and that movie. No, there's a message in that movie that they're showing us. So if we don't take heed and if we don't pay attention to what's actually going on around us, and these things, we have no control over it. A lot of things happen that we don't know about, and you just happen to hear about it. Oh, that happened, that rule passed, and that law passed, and all these sorts of things that happens behind closed doors, because it's not that they're not putting it out there. It's just that when they're putting it out, there's some other distraction or two that's going on, that's out there, that has a bigger story that the news stations are pushing, that it tend to distract us more than what is really going on with us. And we have to try as much as we can to stay focused.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I spend more time on YouTube than I do watch television. I don't really watch. I think I maybe watch the news and the weather. Pretty much it. Unless my husband, who's a Western nut, he sits and watch Westerns. But I listen to audiobooks, and there's this one I listen to. And if you have Audible, it's an amazing book you need to listen to. It's called 1 Second After. And this is like a book that tells you how how things went after everything went down, and you need to listen. There's so much knowledge in that book. It was amazing. And I would, if you are a person who has Audible and you like to listen to books, I would recommend that you just give it a listen, and it's going to make you think in ways you never thought before.
Wow.
Literally.
Okay, I'm not gonna look into that. 1 second after.
Yes.
Okay. And you said have an audio book to it, so you could just listen to it.
Yes, it's just it's Audible. It's a book. Yeah, that's literally how I listen to books a lot, because I like I said, I try to stay away from the television as much as possible. Um, so I have on audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks, and that one literally caught my imagination, and the scenario was, and they used a lot of truth of what's going on now, and
Mm.
it was just crazy. So yeah, I thought it was such a good book, and I would
Can-
recommend people listen to it.
Sure. Can you say the name of the book again?
It's called 1 Second After.
Okay.
1 second
That
after.
was the
Okay.
name of it.
You just put on a headphone and listen to it,
Oh
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
put on the
Yep.
headphone. I'm driving down the road. You can listen to it. That's what I like about it. You can listen to it anytime
Right.
you have the time.
Oh, I'm checking my library. It's there.
Is there?
Audiobook. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
1 second after. All right. Well, guys, this conversation is very important. Very, very important. Because what we doing, a lot of people ain't even start doing. Like we trying to grow some food. Yeah, people ain't even begin, not even thinking of doing it
Right.
at this point. So by what we share tonight is so much information. I'm just hoping that it could reach the right people who really want to know what they need to do to prep, because a lot of people don't even understand what is prepping and the
Right.
wide range of
Yes.
where you got to really look into prepping, because
Right.
prepping is a real wide angle. It's not just growing some food,
Right.
Yes, it is. It is.
So by digging in to understand this could be a blessing to some people. All
Right.
that is a lot of information shared tonight. Plenty information, plenty different stories. That's is a life. I gotta go back and watch this life again, because it's so much everybody shared tonight. I appreciate you guys for real.
Well,
And I
thank you for having us.
Yeah, and thank you,
Yeah, thanks
Planner,
for
for
having
all
us.
the knowledge and information I think you were instrumental in getting me back excited about planting seeds and growing a garden, and finally got my greenhouse built. Proud of that, and just doing
Nice.
so much. But I thank you for the inspiration that you've shown. Look, I even tried that where you showed what is it? You can just slice a tomato and get the seeds and stick them in the ground. I say, I'm out there trying everything. I'm killing a lot of stuff. I'm killing a lot of things, but I'm still growing some stuff.
Listen, trial and error. Don't give up. That's what I do too. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm happy, Jones, too, that I'm able to inspire someone that they could get motivated to go out there and grow their own food, because that's my goal, is encouraging people to get out there and grow something.
And it was a joy meeting you all.
Same to
Yes.
you, same to
Same
you.
here.
Same here.
Mutual.
Great conversation. I think we need to continue talking about this topic. I think we need to put the word out there. I think we need to put our actions into motion and actually start living like we're in a situation, like practice what we're prepping for. Like, we don't know what situation may arise, but at the same time, let's practice something, anything.
Yes.
Because
And then
it's
share,
a
and
lot.
then share, and then share what you've learned.
Yep,
And share what you've
exactly.
learned. Yeah.
I agree.
That's the goal, is share. Is you know, my channel designed to really share and bring people out the shell. You know what I'm saying? Because when I watch a lot of people, they really could make this thing complicated, and the amount of money they put before you, like you got to spend to start, could discourage you.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at them, I got to spend $500 for start a garden. I'm trying to show people, no, you could start a garden with $20.
Yeah.
right,
And then you just proceed, and every year you
right,
expand.
right.
Bro, yeah.
So it's about motivating people and showing them from the ground up.
Right.
It's not that complicated. Yes, there's trials. And the Home Garden Challenge I'm doing is really was to take people back to able to start from seed.
My garden mashup, I have to tell you, the herb garden mashup, everything did now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something attacked it, and the next video is gonna be so sad. It just mashed up. I have to restart everything all over again.
Well, don't
So
feel
I'm
bad.
telling
I
you.
think I killed it.
Don't feel bad. I keep dropping seeds. Don't feel bad. Trust me.
Yeah, I dropped
Don't
seeds
feel
because
bad.
I'm like, man, because this is a lesson, because you think everything is fine,
Right,
and some kind of something is attacking the roots, and you don't see it until it's too late, and then the thing, you know.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm
learn
saying.
now
It's
while it's
a
peace and
challenge.
safety.
It's a challenge, and you got to keep the plants alive.
Yeah.
I've been saying this all the while. These plants could be growing nicely, and one day you see they start changing. So
Yep.
you got to keep them alive, and that's what the challenge about.
It is.
Keeping these things alive till you transplant them outside, which make things a little easier.
Yeah.
So don't give up. Keep dropping seeds. You still got time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
I
luck on
agree.
the. I'll be looking for your video, Urban.
Oh, but
Because,
you put yourself out there.
yeah, I planted about
March.
30. Yeah, I planted about 30 lettuce plants. I have one.
Wow. Wow.
One survived, just one. And look, and now
Guess
it's
what?
starting. Now it's starting to look sad. So,
Oh, gee, I was hoping that one could go to seed, and you're gonna have more seeds.
oh no, it doesn't look like it's going to survive the seed part. And I
Man.
did what I saw a planter do, like if, I did not cut it from the top. I cut it, just take little pieces of the leaves off and stuff. It was tasting pretty good too, and stuff like that. And then I went out there this morning and It looked
You
like,
destroyed it.
yeah, it was just wilting. It's wilting. So I don't know. So, but
You ate too much.
maybe I did. Maybe I did something, but it's wilting. It's looking sad. It's look like it's saying bye bye. The slow way. Bye bye.
Once it gets going,
But
though,
I think
it'll
it's good
it'll
we
seed
share
itself.
yeah, we'll
So
share
I
the
have 3
victories as
volunteer
well as the
lettuces.
failures.
Yeah, don't worry, it'll come. Lettuce will reseed itself, no problem. That's the one thing that will grow by itself.
Wow. Well, next week I'm gonna come up with this topic again. We're gonna continue. I think this topic is very well needed.
Right.
So next
And
week, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and I feel like people are getting so comfortable now because things seems like they've gone back to normal, and that scares me.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me for me, but it scares me for people that
Yep.
everybody's so comfortable back to normal, doing what they do, and not focusing on what they need to be actually doing, and have some type of balance going forward because they've seen what can possibly happen.
Yeah.
So we got to
It's
pay attention to
you
all
know
that
what
too.
it's almost like when a woman has a baby, they said that's the pain you forget the fastest is when you have
Yeah,
a child. Now you're more focused on the child, so you forgot about that pain. And
right,
that's almost like where we are. And
right,
I sit and look sometimes and I'm like, after everything we've been through, we're still
right,
not ready.
right.
Still not
No,
ready.
we're
Exactly.
not.
Well, you know what's funny is what we see still happening today.
Right,
You see what we went through 3 years ago to what we see still happening today, and people still fall back in that comfort zone.
Yeah.
right,
Look at what's happening today. Just observe what's happening, and that alone gonna tell you you gotta do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's either we wake up or we just continue sleeping. But people working hard to prep and do what they gotta do, and people gonna protect what they have.
right,
They're not gonna just allow you to walk in and take the stuff. They're gonna put up a
right.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You are.
Yep, we need to get ourselves together. Like, really.
Yeah, people who are actually doing it, but there's a lot of people who not doing anything. I'm telling you.
There's
There's
a
a
lot of people that's just talking,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I've proven it. And I mean, they're watching you. They're watching what you're doing. But guess what? They're not doing anything. I don't know what their plan is. They talk about what you're doing, and
They're
I'm
going to
saying that
Fifi's
from
house. That's the plan.
experience.
That's their
Okay,
plan, Fifi. They're going to your house.
okay,
I mean, if you don't
But
want to
little
do
do
a
they know when
lot,
they get there,
yeah,
they're
right.
gonna
If you
meet
don't want to
a
do
rude
a lot,
awakening when they get there.
right? If you
listen. I hope they're really watching me, because if they're really watching me, they won't plan to come over here.
Yes,
Okay,
they shouldn't plan to go there.
they
Don't
won't
go to
plan to
Fifi's
come over
house.
here. Trust me.
yeah, but you know what? Even if for those who've never even tried it, do this. Just do this. And I'm not a professional. I'm a beginner too. But buy 5 pots, and in each pot plant something different. There, you started small. Start
Right,
small, do something, at least find out what it is about. Just do that. Just do a little something. You can sit 5 pots on your front porch or wherever you get your sun at and just start there.
yeah.
Do something.
can I just
Yeah,
say
all you
something?
have to do is start.
I'm not being funny. Can I just say something?
Sure.
Jones Truth 67, this is for you. Did you
Oh
start
boy.
did you start small because you went crazy with the seeds?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't do like I did. Hey, wait.
She got the bite. She
Listen,
got
once
bitten
you have the
with the gardening
mindset and
fever.
you go into it, it's a goal.
I went to order a couple of chickens. I ended up with 6. That's how it starts. You end up all in a few. And me and GT,
Oh my
same
God.
problem. I have 6
Yeah.
and he has about 10. And
Wait
then
a
he got
minute.
4 more.
Okay. Can you see the box?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
All
exactly
these
what I'm
seeds.
saying.
Wow.
And the box is full. I can't get anything else.
Wow.
You're gonna buy another box, Miss Jones. You're gonna buy another box. You watch.
Please
Like
don't
nice
give me any.
cabinet from Michael's with all the compartments.
Look, don't give me any
Wow.
ideas. Don't give me any ideas.
You watch.
But I
You're gonna be
like that
clicking
though.
online, ordering some
I like
seeds.
that. I'm glad to see
She's
that.
there, she's there giving advice to the beginners, and look at her with her vault, with her seed
Yeah, she
vault.
have her whole container.
Right.
She's gonna start
I
ordering
like
from
Definitely
My
that.
that.
Gardener and Baker Creek, and she's gonna be clicking online and clicking and
Well,
ordering them on Amazon and
Yeah,
yeah, well,
Etsy store. You watch. Just soon
yeah.
buy the whole to see them.
well, look, I have a vacuum sealer, so I'll just vacuum seal some of them. So
Yeah, see, she have her plan
Yeah.
already, and she's gonna go buy 5 more pots and 5
Yeah.
more.
five more pots. No, don't say anything because I just bought 30 pots. So
Oh, gee.
Yeah, and I bought 2 raised beds. I have the same problem, and I bought 4 trees that are coming end of the month. Don't worry, we all got the same
Oh,
problem.
man.
You
I like
farmers,
that. I
you
like that.
farmers
You
are no
you
joke.
please. You a
No,
please. I like that. You have the
I'm looking
space.
at quail now. I can't get no turkey, but I think I can get look at quail. You watch, we're just taking it to the next level. We're all addicted now. It's addiction.
Yes, if we video
Have to
today
join
with
Seeds Anonymous.
turkey.
Oh yeah, I got my
Yeah,
baby
you have
turkeys
turkey.
today. Yes, I
Yeah.
got
Have
some
our
more
turkey
today.
them.
I have 3-month-old, almost 4-month-old turkeys that I have now, and I got some more today. I got some broad-breasted bronze turkeys today, so I got my work cut out for me.
I
But
don't, I
no
don't
what
know how Fifi living at HOA and all these things
Fifi,
going on over there.
they don't
Because I can. My HOA is private and it's a smaller HOA.
No, but it just shows you. You can do like if you ask and follow the rules, you can still do a
Yeah.
lot.
And it's easier for me because it's so small. It's only 14 houses, single family houses. And we're more like closer knit. So they understand what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do. So if you kind of put that out there, I mean, all HOAs is not the same. And we do have rules. We had to
No.
sign that contract coming in. And obviously the rule has been broken and it's okay. They understand.
The
Nobody's
rooster,
getting
you mean?
anybody into trouble, so I'm not saying go breaking rules and causing problems. I'm just saying don't feel like you're entitled to have this and entitled to do that when you already signed up for something. But I would say try. That's why I always say ask. That's all you can do. Ask. Is it okay? This is what I plan to do. And be respectful about it. So sometimes you can get away with stuff with breaking a rule or two.
No, and
So.
you're right. Especially if you're gonna be friendly with people and you share,
Right.
and you're not
Right.
having the place smelling like a barn, and you keep the
Right.
place clean.
Exactly. You have to
People
stay
don't
on top
really,
of it. Yep.
Yeah, no
Right.
one has smelled nothing over here, so they haven't said nothing because it doesn't
Right.
smell. I make sure I clean it every day. Every night I go and clean the coop part, and I keep the place very
Right.
clean.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have
Yeah.
anybody getting upset.
Right. And the
So
front
people,
of my property, like you won't be able to tell what I have going on in the back because the
right?
front is
Because you
just
keep the
like
curb
everybody
appeal.
else's.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Curb appeal. Yep.
But this makes me laugh. Oh, I got 5 more turkeys. Oh, I have this. I have. I'm like, how's Fifi? Lord of mercy. I need a little dog that she a dog.
Yep.
Fifi has a whole farm behind her front now.
I call it my farmstead. It's my farm and my home. It's
Oh
my
my
homestead. I call
God.
it my farmstead.
And then her
But
husband put another level in the coop, another story. So now she have the
oh
meat.
yeah.
I said, Lord, it's
Hey,
Oh
Fifi,
yeah.
hilarious.
boy,
And
But
boy,
I
you
love
said
it. I'm
give
not
me a
going to
couple
I'm copying her. I'm following Fifi.
what'd you say, Planner? What'd you say, Planner?
No, I'm telling Fifi, boy, Blue say give a couple egg.
oh yeah, I give
Give
them
a couple egg.
a couple hush eggs. Oh yeah. I've given
Oh
hush
yeah,
eggs
exactly.
before.
Exactly. Like, shh, keep it down.
Oh yeah, they keep it down. Yeah. I give them produce from my from my garden too. So I mean, I share and I encourage people. I have I had a raised bed that I purchased. I think GT Junior a couple months ago had put it on his community tab, and it was on
Mm-hmm.
sale on Amazon, and I purchased it because it was on sale. Not that I needed it. I purchased it and I just had it in my garage, right? I was planning to use it, but I didn't know where I was going to put it because it's not like I needed it. And so my neighbor come over a couple days ago, and he was saying, I'm gonna start a garden this year, and I have to buy a raised bed and all of that. And I was like, you know what? Let me give him some encouragement. And I asked my husband, could you go get him that raised bed in the garage? So if he was going to buy one, now you have two. You can grow a little more. And
Yeah.
so we gave him that raised bed. And so he's starting to plant his garden this year. And I'm happy about that, that I can actually encourage somebody to grow some food, to grow their own food, to see what's going on
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
grow their own food. So I really feel good about it. And he's been asking me questions about gardening and what to plant and stuff like that. So you
So
know
your
helping
influence,
him
like
do that.
the people in your area are now influence and trying to do that themselves for themselves.
So
That's good.
we have one, two, three, four now, right? But it's like, what should I say? They give up. Gardening, you can't give up in gardening. It's a lot of work. It's a
Right.
lot of manual work.
It
And you
is.
got to figure out stuff. And when you have the weather to deal with, it can be very discouraging, because what I've went through so far this year, I should just drop everything and let it go, to be
Yep,
honest
me
with
too.
you. So I'm just saying that to say, if you're new and you're new to gardening and you're dealing with all this stuff, it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
But I keep going.
Discouraging.
I
Yep.
keep expanding and extending my garden, and they're like, "Oh wow, you extended your garden?" Yep, I got rid of some of that lawn. I can't eat that. I can't eat the
Exactly.
grass.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I'm putting
Exactly.
more food in there. So I'm happy I can actually encourage somebody to grow their food, start a garden and grow their food.
Yeah.
But this is
Right.
part of the
I've been doing
preparedness
that.
because, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
This is part of the preparedness because this is the problem. Society and all these rules in your cities. Oh, you can't have chickens. You can't do this. Like all the can'ts that you couldn't do. That's why a lot of us have lost the skills because you live in these
Oh
communities
yeah.
and you're not allowed to do certain things. And some people who would have done it didn't because they weren't allowed to do it. But you have to learn to sometimes. I'm not saying break the rules. I'm not saying that, but I'm kind of saying that without saying that. So you cannot say that I said
Y'all
because I
see
didn't say.
y'all see me,
That
right?
sometimes following the rules dumbs us down because
I'm just
they don't want
saying.
you to grow no food. They don't want you to to plant no fruit
Right.
trees. They don't
They
want you
want you dependent.
to they don't want you to
Right.
remove the lawn. You must have a certain amount of lawn space and all
Right.
these
Mhm.
regulations and rules. And it's
Mhm.
like it's too
Mhm.
far. Like I understand no rooster, fine, but you cannot tell me I can't have
What?
no
What?
like you
No
can't have
what?
this, you can't have that. Roosters. I can understand no roosters. I could say fine, no roosters because they are noisy. But you can't say I can't have no fowl, no chicken. Then everything is about oh
Listen,
the flu. The flu,
this
all it's
right.
all
This
fear mongering.
right.
Yeah.
I've never had issues with, and have had chickens for years. And this city does not want me to have a rooster. But do you see anybody around me complaining, whether they are in my community, in my gated community or not? Is anybody here showing up saying, "Oh, we heard you have a rooster"? No. Why?
That's
They
good.
wouldn't
That's
dare.
good.
They probably wouldn't dare
Okay.
because
Cause
they
you're
might have
some
dogs and the dogs bark all day long, right? So
The
they wouldn't dare
planes,
say
the
nothing.
trains, like the ambulance, the emergency vehicle, the sirens, that's noise pollution.
Hi Da,
Yep.
Tex, how you doing?
Yeah.
But people
And
like
to
neighbors like to be involved in your business. So some neighbors aren't nice, but I'm like, I mind my business, you mind your business, and we'll live happily ever after.
I'm blessed to not have those issues. I don't take that lightly. I am blessed to not have the issues, those types of issues, because yeah,
okay.
it won't be
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could
pretty.
make your life
Yeah.
very difficult. But
Right.
this is the problem.
And I
Why
and
do they have all these rules to prevent you from being independent? The rules should
Control.
be about hygiene and keeping the place clean and
Right.
certain rules like
Right.
that. But don't say that I
Right.
cannot. That's that means I have to go to the store. I have to go to the store and buy my stuff, or I have to go to a
Right.
farmer and buy my stuff. You're limiting my independence.
That is
Right.
uh, uh, can I just address Darth X? He said, anyone planting anything today? I ran out of time prepping my grow bags. Darth X, I have all grow bags. I didn't prep anything. I bought the soil. I dumped it in. The only thing I added was maybe a little more compost or some what is it some blood meal or whatever, and that's it. That was my prep, and just grow it. And yes, you can right now, I know you can plant the black seeded Simpson lettuce. You can still plant that now. As far as anything else, ask one of these pros. That's my limited knowledge.
Oh, he's saying
Not with that
potatoes.
seed
My
vault.
potatoes are in the garage. I gotta plant my
Yeah.
potatoes this week. I'm late too, but I'm still planting them same way because they're growing eyes. So that's all I can do.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But I
those
don't do any
people
prepping with no grow bags. I just open them up, throw the soil in, and keep moving.
Yeah. Or I amend the soil every year, but yeah, he probably is doing it fresh for the first time. I amend my
Yeah.
soil and get the rainwater on it, and then do what I
Right.
gotta do.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's all about control. Exactly, boy blue. They want to
they
control,
don't
and this is part of the
control.
preparedness. We've been put to
Yeah.
sleep. We have been put to sleep,
Right.
and we
For so
now have to
long.
fight against the powers that be.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. The
It's just
government definitely
control.
wants you dependent on them so you can say, may I, please, can I have?
Right.
Nope. Nope. Doesn't work that way.
And then
Right.
they want you to go buy farming land. If you want to go farm, then go to a farming area. But I don't need to have
Right.
that right now. I just need to have access
Right.
to my own backyard and let me do what I
Exactly.
want. I can do.
Right.
I'm surrounded by farms, but I still want my own.
I
Yeah, you want
agree.
your own.
I want my
Right.
own because I don't know what the farmers are doing out there, but I know what I'm doing in my backyard.
Right. Exactly.
So,
That part.
so what I'm adding, what I'm doing, I know everything that's
Mm-hmm.
going in, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. So,
That's what's
And
important.
then I don't want nothing near to. I don't want anything near because you don't know what's running off when coming over to you. Like my neighbor right next to me. On one side I have a neighbor, the other side I don't. And well, an immediate neighbor. And I told him years ago, I'm like, we don't use any fertilizers on our lawn, and this is why. This is what we're trying to do. And he used to use fertilizers, but now he doesn't use any fertilizers. All he does is cuts his grass, and that's it. And I really do appreciate that.
yeah,
Because sometimes
Okay.
people don't know or they won't understand. And if you can communicate and have that conversation, it's that simple at times. It's just that simple. Because some
Well, I
people may
told off
be doing
somebody last
something
week.
that, what's that?
I told off somebody last week because I was at my parents' house planting the stuff outside, and we already have stuff
Hmm.
from the kale from last season that's still there, and they were decided to spray chemicals, and I lost
Mm.
it.
Oh,
I lost it. These new people come into town and moving and then doing things differently because nobody in that area ever sprayed nothing in the garden area.
Wow.
Ever, ever,
listen,
Wow.
ever.
I
And
Well,
just
I
love,
lost I lost it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just love
Like,
how the area where I'm growing set up because ain't nobody, nothing running from nobody. It's like I start from the top of the hill. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
it's just me. It's just
right,
me. I ain't got to worry. Everybody else, they want to go in their own way.
right.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? So I
Right,
ain't got to
right,
worry about what they put in the yard and what they. It
right.
just this is just my running down to me right here. I just like that because I wouldn't like the fact that people throwing chemical in the yard and spraying
All
and
that's running
all
off.
that
Yep,
running down by me. I
yep.
wouldn't like that. So I just
Right.
love how mine set up.
Nice.
Nothing
That's what
for
I need
nobody
because I
come
was
to me.
gonna. They stopped. Like when I told them off, they stopped and told the man to stop. But I'm thinking, how could you be so selfish? Well, we're only spraying here. I said, whatever you do to your side, have to
It's
be to
right
my
here.
side. It
Exactly.
doesn't just stay there.
Exactly.
Once the soil is
Yeah.
damaged, all of our soil is damaged. I go, and they look at
Right.
me like I have no sense. I said, listen here, gal. I said, listen here, woman. Where's your husband? Who's in charge of this madness? And she called her husband on the phone and had a speakerphone. And then they're like talking in their language. I said, don't talk in no language, talk in English. I'm yelling at you in English. You talk to me in English. And then that went
I
left.
would've-
And then I said, that went left. And I said, listen here. You come here and you come with this new behavior. Don't come here with that. Don't put no cancer upon my food. That's cancer causing chemical on my food. Oh no, it goes away. Where goes away? Where? I go,
In
you
the
dimwit,
food?
it goes in the damn soil. Go read up on this. And she's like, I go, it goes to our soil. That means all the food that you're gonna grow this year it's cancer food you're gonna grow this year. Go, you just ruined the whole season. I said, all the plants I had seeds in my house and all my starts in the house. 72 plants I have in the house for me and them. All of that gone to waste. I was
Wow.
livid. If I could jump the fence, I would have jumped the fence. And the man who was saying, I to go and move back.
I would love
I
to
can't-
see
I
that,
can't-
Urban.
Oh, Fifi, I was
I
just
was
thinking
so
the same thing. I would have loved to
I
been there
was
for
so
that.
furious. And the man was hiding behind the woman because he knew I was gonna punch him. How dare you? Because here
Urban.
we have weeds. We have weeds. I go, nobody has no weeds. We all have dandelions. And we all dig them up by hand and throw them in the compost bin. Nobody
Wow.
sprays like the lawn, fine. I could understand the lawn, your tech, your patio, maybe the patio, but the actual garden beds where you grow your food, you have the audacity to come and spray when I'm here working in the garden. Oh. I said, listen, man. And he's talking like I'm dumb. I said, don't talk like I'm dumb, like I don't have no sense, okay? I said, I'm smarter than you, so just remember who you're talking to. Oh, no. We not. And then my sister goes, calm down. I said, don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. And then I went left over there, and the argument was it was awful. I had to go calm down for 2 days. Sit down and calm down for 2 days. I couldn't
Urban,
believe the man. He spoiled the whole party.
did you have you noticed hardly any bees around any of those dandelions this year?
I was saying that the same thing about 2 weeks ago, Dominic, that this year I don't see that many bees, but I saw
I don't
some
either.
this week, but same
Slowly.
thing. And I think it's because of the 5G tower that's in my area, because something's going on, because the bees used to be out from right after Easter. I don't see hardly any bumblebees, carpenter bees, the honey bees. I haven't seen not one wasp yet, nothing.
No,
Pollinating my fruit trees, I said nothing.
we've affected our environment. We are in the age of Aquarius.
Something-
Go ahead.
And it's
something is
everywhere.
going on. And,
Trust me. It's
you know, I've been
everywhere.
talking about we help mess up the environment too. This is why I've been talking about this forever. About stop using all these kind of chemical and stuff on your food. You could use natural stuff and grow healthy food.
Right.
You see, all these things killing the earthworms, killing the butterfly, killing the bees.
The microorganisms in the soil, all dead.
In the soil, yep.
You
True,
know,
Planter.
something.
True.
me
The
tell you
thing
something.
is, we
Go
live in
ahead.
an age of Aquarius. We've introduced radio, electricity, and Wi-Fi. What that actually does to the environment does more damage than what's in the soil.
Right.
Because we don't, when people do, combination planting and all that kind of stuff, a plant can attract certain kinds of insect, but if it cannot send a signal, it loses it now. This is why, because of our comfort, we've decided to have radio frequencies, electricity. Think about what it does when you surround your whole house with electrical cable. But we do it for our comforts. This is why I was asking the young lady, even that we live in Canada, there's a reason why we pay property tax, because it's called tribute. We're paying to crown corporations. And you're not left out in America because it's still ruled by the British Empire. But anyway, that's another story all by itself. So in this particular case, when it comes to crops, forget about whether or not there's, chemtrails and all that other stuff. That could just be the harness Wi-Fi. So for us, we're in this matrix kind of ideal, and we're affecting it. And for the people that still want to farm and do all that, they're probably unaware. Why are my seasons changing now? Especially if we
Exactly,
do
the
weather
weather patterns. Yep.
modifications. Yeah.
Right.
Well, here in Mississippi, where I live at, they still have crop dusters. They still fly the planes and drop the chemicals on the crops.
Wow.
And it's all over. It's all over here. And let me tell you something. I never in my life had sinus issues and things like that. But since I've been in the Delta and I live in the Delta, my sinuses are so crazy now. It makes no sense. I mean, you just, and I know it's coming from all of this stuff that they're spraying. And that's why my husband and I are trying to work toward where we can get away from this stuff and have our own little piece of heaven somewhere far away from this stuff. But yeah, right now, because like periodically, and the planes, I mean, you can just drive down a road and the planes are like right there going beside you down the road spraying. Yeah, they still have crop dusters here.
Wow.
They
Because nobody wants to
said,
deal with weeds and
yeah,
deal with the actual
yeah,
nature.
right. The excuse
You want to
is,
denature nature. Like, go figure.
yeah. The excuse is it had something to do with either cost or effectiveness. I forget which, but that's the there's an excuse for everything now. So
Right.
yeah, but
They
we
create
still
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, when I
So
say
I have to find a way to grow without having my neighbors' chemicals interfere with what I'm trying to do, because this is what's happening. People do whatever they want and they think, oh, it's on my property line, I can do it. Yeah, you can do what you want, but what you're
Yeah.
doing is affecting the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's the
So
problem.
yeah. So I will probably have to put everything inside the greenhouse and make sure it's sealed or whatever until they finish spraying and the stuff settles down,
Wow.
But yeah, but
It's
yeah, but
crazy.
it's crazy here. It really is.
And then when you think about it, all this chemical is going into the soil, damaging the soil, going into the food, going into the water supply, and then we wonder why, we're getting sick, why people are getting sick. It's all of this stuff that's been going on for so long, and it takes a while to
And these
show up
chemicals
in
kill your plants. Several
right.
people are planting food and the plants are shriveling up and dying with no explanation,
Wow.
And there's
because
another
whatever's in those
effect,
sprays.
right?
Yeah.
And the other effect is the bugs here are morphing. I promise you, they're morphing. There's
Wow.
bugs here big as your hand. It doesn't make any sense. I've seen centipedes that look like snakes. I'm like,
What?
good gravy. These things are huge. And
Wow.
my son, when he was younger, he called me to the door. He's like, Mommy, come and see this. He was like, that's the biggest grasshopper I ever saw, because it was sitting on the
Wow.
branch and it was literally weighing the thing down. That's how
Oh,
big.
wow.
And I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't
Wow.
like bug spray, but if that gets in my house, he can have the house, God. That's
This is what's
crazy.
happening.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is what's
Yeah.
happening, and it's affecting. And I'm taking notes in a notebook to see what I'm seeing changing, but people are not keeping track. They don't get it. They think it's a small
Right.
thing. Who cares? Why am I so upset? They don't understand that the damage. Like in 5 years, I don't even know if I can grow food in my garden. I don't know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you really think about it, it's like you have to prep too for if you can't grow at all outside. And it's not that you're allowing people to control how you grow, but would you choose to grow in that, I mean,
no.
When they're spraying all
contaminated?
these
It's
exactly.
exactly. You don't want to put that in your body.
No,
So,
the truth is, I don't think you will be able to grow food very soon. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And we're gonna be where they start happening, they start to pattern seeds.
Yeah.
yep.
They
But
start pattern
planter.
seeds already. So
Yeah.
when the pattern seeds and this thing get real popular, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
no, I remember this corn company. The corn was they have pattern, their corn pattern. And right next to them, there was someone with their cornfield as well. And what happened is, somehow or the other, some of their corn end up in the people them corn over there, and they had us to destroy the whole crop. You see what I'm
Wow.
saying? Because they have the
Yep.
people pattern corn in their crop. This thing ain't no joke.
Imagine that.
This thing ain't, listen me, people really need to start to pay attention and stop take this thing as a joke, because it's not. And all these things, nothing ain't settled as yet. It still have a lot more to happen before everything get back to normal. This what we're going through is the beginning. So people got to really start taking these things serious. When we look at, just look at what's happening today. When we look at machine taking over so many jobs, people losing so many jobs, people using their house, their job, their livelihood. What, I mean, look, just observe and see what could take place if people losing their job. Machine, you got to compete with machine for job
Right.
these days. This is the life, this is the wall we hitting now, where
Right.
you have to compete with machine. So where all these people who losing their job, we're gonna become of them. Why losing their home? We're gonna be. This is what people got to start to look into. This thing is
Right.
really
Once upon a time we had a village mentality. We no longer have
Mhm.
the village
Right.
mentality.
right.
Right.
When you have the village mentality, everyone is taken care of.
Right.
Everyone is
Exactly.
taken care of. But
Mhm.
there's no longer the village mentality. It's the mine and yours mentality now.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another thing that's going to destroy us, because we left that. We left that. And it's not a race thing. It's everywhere.
Yep.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's there's no village. And I found though, and sometimes it's even in the where regions that you live. I've found that uh, I had to literally change my mentality when I moved from Ohio to Mississippi, because the people were so different. They were more accommodating, they were more friendly, they were more open. And where I came from, like if you're driving down the road, you just drive. Here, you drive down the road, everybody's they pass you, they throw a hand up. When I first moved down here, I'm like, I don't know you, I'm not waving at you. But
Wow.
a it was just, you know what I'm saying? It was just a
It
custom
was weird.
that
Yeah.
you just wave. You understand what I'm saying? And so, like I
Right.
said, when I talk about changing your mindset, I am so serious. You have to literally change your mindset, because I felt like I was completely paranoid when I moved down here. I trusted nobody, because
Wow.
that was my mentality. The only people you trust is your family. That's it.
Right.
Outside it.
Right.
So I had to break a lot of things that were ingrained in me. So, now I'm more open, with people and everything. But it was like, you talk about cultural shock. It was like a complete cultural shock moving from
Right.
Ohio to Mississippi. And remember now, I had never been out of Ohio. I met my
Mm.
husband over the telephone and we courted.
Wow.
And literally, I met him 3 weeks after we talked on him. Physically, I met him 3 weeks later. We got married 10 months later, and I'm just picked up and moved to Mississippi.
Wow.
I literally knew no one. So I had to go through a whole cultural shift, as it
Shock.
were.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I had to go through the whole shift. So that's why I understand that there's a mentality when it comes to prepping and preparing. You have to make a cultural shift
Right.
to get to that point.
Yes.
Because I had to, and it wasn't easy in the beginning, because I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know.
Wow.
So,
Wow. So that's
but
something you learned.
that's why I encourage people, don't be afraid of it. I took a chance when I married my husband. I literally knew no one in Mississippi but him. I had
Right.
never been to Mississippi. And I took a chance and married him. And it was the best thing I ever did in my life.
Wow,
Um,
that's
so,
wonderful.
and that's how I approach gardening. Take a chance,
Yeah.
because I guarantee you, you will never be the same. It's a cultural shift
Hmm.
from this to
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I encourage anyone, try it, do something, try it.
Right.
Yeah, at
And
least you're not jumping out of an airplane with a parachute.
Right.
And I mean, it's the same from me coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah,
You say hi to everybody. You say good morning, Miss Such and so, or Mister Such so and so.
right.
You go by, even if you put your hand up, you wave to them, you say hi to them. Then I moved here, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm saying hi to people, and they're not even paying me any mind. They're not watching me. They're not answering. It's like I'm doing something wrong, and it was just so different, so I had to adjust in that way. and
Right.
and I don't do it here now. But funny story is that we took a vacation to Maine last year, in the summer of last year, and I was shell shocked because we're literally driving in our cars, and people are just saying hi to us just driving by in this small village like community. And I'm like, oh, wow. And it reminded me, like, that's what I know. That's what I grew up with. This is different. In America, to me, this is different. Because when I moved to the United States of America, I had to switch from that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it still exists.
Yeah, yeah,
It
it
still
Yeah.
does.
exists, and it's
It
it's
does.
it's that switch and that change that we have to make in a situation that will be like, what do I do with this? Like, is this for real? Is this genuine? What is their motive? It all these things come up now for me.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, right. But you can't be afraid,
True.
You
So
cannot be,
true.
you can't live yourself in fear, because if you did, you would never leave
Right.
your house. You literally
Right.
would never leave your
Right.
house.
And I
Yeah.
am leaving my house if I need to. If I have to go out there and forage, I'm going out there.
Yeah, you keep going to the store and getting all them turkeys and all them chickens. So
Yeah.
And
Well,
listen, I don't need to be going out there hunting any turkeys because I raise my own turkeys. But at the same time, what if I can't get them? What if I don't have that supply, right, to get from the hatchery? Then guess what? I have to go out there in the wild and be able to have that life skill, that survival skill to be able to hunt a
of
turkey
course,
because I eat meat. My family eats meat. So
yeah,
the
even
only
if I'm
problem most of
raising
us have is going
turkey,
through
I'm
the
still
drive-through
going to go
window.
out there.
yeah, yeah. Urban, I'd be the vegetarian in the bunch.
Yeah,
I'd be
lettuce
the
in your salads, just here.
yes, yeah. I'd be
Right.
the vegetarian.
Yeah.
You and Planta can be the Italy son, and we and Fifi can go hunt for the
Yep.
birds, for the
Yeah,
fowls.
yeah. There you go.
Right.
There you go. There's a job for everybody. So
And the herbs and the vegetables.
yeah.
Yeah, the herbs.
Knowing that, Shelly, what's your blood type, if I may ask? Because usually women are A's.
Beg your pardon.
What's your blood type, if I may ask?
I have absolutely no clue.
Okay, because that'll determine what kind of food you can digest or whatever. Usually O's are the ones that can process meat, for example.
Well,
And
I know
usually,
it's not O.
yeah,
That's the
that's
only
usually
thing I
men.
could.
Most men
Because
are O's.
yeah, yeah. So because that's what I do, because I make it a point every year to do a fast. I fast off meats for 40 days. I do that every year. And I found that I do feel a lot better a lot of times, because we have become carnivorous by nature. But my dad always says something. He has a weight problem. He's 88, and my mother used to fuss at him all the time about your weight. She's like, "You're gonna just lose weight." He was like, "Well, honey, if they didn't make food taste so good, I could lose the weight." So that was his thing. He said it tastes too good to lose the weight, but you know,
Oh,
yeah, but no, I
man.
don't know my blood type. I used to, but that was quite some time ago. I don't
Mhm.
remember
Yeah, because we can be born in the same family and everybody has different diets within them. Like
Yeah.
some people can be fruitarians, some people can be vegetarians or pescatarians. People just make that assumption I should be a meat eater, and I usually tell people, "It's okay. So, are you eating domestic or a wild animal? Because
Yeah.
wild is for different types of people, right?"
Yeah, yeah. Now I love vegetables. I literally could live off vegetables and fruit. When it gets hot in the summertime, I don't even like to eat too many hot foods. I prefer salads and fruits and things of that sort. That's how I am because it's so hot down here. To me, if I eat heavy and meats, I feel weighted down and heavy. So I tend to lean more toward colder meals during the summer here.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I know myself when I eat a lot of fruits. My wife usually tells me, "Don't, because you like to make a meal out of your fruits. Have some peanuts to slow down that natural sugar."
Yeah, that's me. That's
Yeah.
me. Look, I did when before I got online, I had a large bowl of cantaloupe and watermelon. And I
Okay.
got it and the water and both were unusually they were so sweet. So that's what I ate before I got online. That's probably what I'm
Man, I
gonna
hope
eat when I get finished, huh?
I was gonna say I hope I'm successful in growing my watermelon this year.
Yeah,
I just hope so.
yeah. I had some watermelon seedlings in that group that lost all the labels, so I have no idea. I may have a watermelon this year.
Ah,
Yeah,
you just might.
if I figure out what it is,
Right.
yeah. Besides, and I still haven't figured out what I need to put in my 100-gallon grow bag. So
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow, 100 gallon.
yeah, I have this
Oh,
100-gallon grow bag, and I'm still trying to decide if I want to. See, my concern is, and Planner, maybe you can answer this question: is my concern is how deep the roots go because I don't want to put something in there and it's about 19, 20 inches tall, I guess, something like that. I don't
mm.
want to put something in there where it has extremely deep roots and it messes it up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you see.
So
Like
that, yeah,
19. Okay, that could cover it. A fruit tree is we might go down deeper. But
yeah,
like pepper, okra, them kind of plants,
yeah.
they'll do pretty well in there.
Okay, all right. That's
A
a thought.
fruit tree might go
Yeah, I put
down
okra
by
in that
cabbage.
thing. It's fine.
In a grow bag?
Yeah, yeah. I put
Yeah.
okra in there. I've done beans in there. I've done hot peppers in there, bell peppers. Yeah, I've done a whole
Yeah,
bunch of stuff in
they'll
the
be
grow
fine.
bags.
It's
Yeah,
just
well,
a
this one,
fruit
this one's
tree.
going to take
They're
a
fine.
lot of plants. Hmm? Yeah, so that's what I do. That's the last one I have to fill up. I think as
Okay.
far as the grow bags go, is the
Well,
100-gallon.
John Shoot, I gotta give you a thumbs up. You ain't played.
I'm not playing. No, when I jump in all the way.
All the way in. That's good.
Yeah, I jump in literally, because my husband, I love my husband. When he found out I wanted to get interested in gardening, I don't think he thought I was serious. When he came home and he saw the 2x4s, the plastic, I had bought the nails and everything, and he saw I was serious. First, some days he'd come in and he'll say something, and other days, and only thing he fussed at, he was like, "You are not using my saw. I will do it for you." So because he knows if he left it there long enough, I'm going to pick up that saw. He knows
You'll
I'm not
figure it
afraid.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was me. So, but a lot of times he just comes in, he looks, he just does that and go back the other way. Or if he thinks I need something, he was like, "Sheila, get out the way. I'll do this for you. Get out the way. I'll just do this for you." So, I mean, he's a great support. He likes to mess with me a lot, but he's a good support system. But yeah,
That's
he
wonderful.
he knows if I do something, I jump in all the way. I don't halfway do it
Okay.
because I'm either
That's
going to find out
wonderful.
if I'm going to succeed or fail right away. Yeah.
Yes. Once you have this
Well, you
space,
can't go wrong with learning how to grow your food. You can't go wrong.
You can't.
Right.
You
I
can't.
heard all.
And then as you go along, you just, figure out what you like, what you don't like, how you can do things, because there are options also.
Yeah.
You can do vertical growing, and it's a good investment, because we got some cattle panels a couple years ago, and we use that for vertical growing. It saves space on the ground level, so all that comes into play when you want to grow all this food and you have a seed vault like you do.
Yeah, yeah, I do kind of have a seed vault.
Right.
Yeah,
Boy
and
Blue said it somewhere in the chat. She
yeah,
went to get the seed vault. Yep.
and but the thing is, and it's been every step of the way has been a challenge.
Right.
First, I found out I could not be the person to go in ground because all that bending is rough on my back. So I said, I'll go do the grow bags and the elevated beds. Found the elevated beds. Then looked in the yard. I'd say 80, no, 95% of my yard is covered in shade, except this one little space. I wasn't sure if that was the right space. So then I took my camera, I did the time lapse video to figure out where the sun was at the most. Then I had to do that. Then I started building the greenhouse. Got the greenhouse partially built, and then it started
You
raining
did
like,
time lapse?
huh? Did I what? Yeah,
You
I
did
did
a
a
time,
time
never
lapse
did it in
video.
my life, but just put the bag out. Me just put the
I
bag out there and
literally
see
did
how it
it.
does and see if it grows.
I literally did a
You never
time
done
lapse
that.
video of my yard.
You
Yeah,
never
and so to figure that out, and then once I got that figured out, I built this. It rained. I felt like it rained 40 days and 40 nights down here.
Oh, wow.
It finally stopped raining, and I was trying to grow stuff inside. Got so far when I started building the greenhouse, and when I just about got it, everything in the house died. So
Yep.
everything
I had
has been,
gnats and aphids.
Yep,
Yep.
it's
and
always
gnats
something.
Wow.
and gnats.
Yep. Battle, man. It's a battle.
There's one now that's been flying around me since I've been online. I want him bad. His life is ending. Yes, his life is ending tonight. So,
I'm telling you.
so
They get under your
everything
last
has been
nerve.
fun.
Damn
Yeah,
gnats.
but it's been fun. It's been worth it, and I still have challenges. One of my grow
Right.
bags, I can't even remember what it was in there. I think it was a bean plant. I went out there and looked at it. The whole bag on the outside was green, and whatever was in there is dead. So okay,
Algae?
whatever that is. I went out there one day to dig into a bag I had left outside. There was a what is this thing doing? There was a frog in the bag. Yes, I ran. Yes, I did run. Just know that I ran. So, and when I saw him jump out, I came back. So, I let him have it for a minute. So, but I mean, it's challenging. It's fun. I don't mind laughing at myself. I have to around here in Mississippi. Trust me, especially being coming from the north where I didn't have to fight the bugs and the
Right.
love bugs and the grass and everything and the list everything. So, but it's been a challenge. But I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Right.
That's wonderful. And this is your first year growing, right?
My first year growing.
Well, I gotta really give it to you for real.
First year growing.
So your first time are you doing so much?
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta give
That's
it to you,
awesome.
and
That's wonderful.
that's a lot you doing.
Yeah, but it's fun. I would recommend anybody to do. My neighbors are amazed because the ones that have gardens, they keep coming over looking at my greenhouse. It's like, how did you do that?
It's exciting, exactly.
Yeah, it's exciting. I said, well, if you decide to do one, I'd be glad to come and help you.
Right.
And my husband
That's the
looks
thing
at
too.
yeah. And my husband says you can't use my tools. So he went and bought me my own tools.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you all please try it because times are changing. You can't depend on things from one day to the next.
Right.
So you really
Exactly.
need to think about having a plan B, possibly a C, and maybe a D.
Right.
You have to think what if?
Right.
What if?
That's
They,
the word. What if?
yeah,
And walk on it. Not just think it, walk on it.
Right.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, yeah. And we do everything.
You know, a lot of us, I think a lot of us procrastinate too much. And like we keep saying, a lot of people, we just talking, we're not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking it's time to wake up from that. If you're sleeping in, it's time to wake up. Too much thing is approaching with our bare eyes now. We ain't even need nothing to see. It's just before our eyes. That tells us we
Yeah,
have to do something. We got to
exactly.
try to be independent. We got to try
Mm-hmm.
to be more skillful because I'm telling you, if you get into a community these days, you will have to have some kind of skill. You
Yeah,
know
Right.
that they
Exactly.
need you.
yeah,
You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? That they okay, all right, you be helpful. You see, because these days people ain't care about people like before.
you have to. You
So you
have to.
have to have some skill for people to accept you.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Lord,
because and I've learned that a lot of times if people see you enjoying something, it makes them a little curious, and that may open the door for you to teach them something. You know, like
that's true.
I have 12 grandchildren, and and when they come here, they're fascinated because they can't believe grandma's out there doing that stuff. But
Mm,
I invite them out there with me. I want to be able to teach them and show them what they can do
Right.
and what things are possible, what the possibilities are. Your life is not surrounded by that little box that you hold in your hand and stare at all day long. There's so much out there. If you take the time to look away from the phone and look around and see your environment, I mean, there's some amazing things in this life that you need to experience, and you can't do it staring at your phone.
that is true. Well, guys,
Yeah.
we went for 3 hours. I don't want to hold you guys no longer. You guys share
Almost
a
midnight.
lot.
Lord, it lit.
It's 3 hours and 5 minutes. It was a very interesting life tonight.
Very.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
and a lot of fun.
Yes,
Thank you.
a
Yes,
lot
it
of fun
was.
today too. Love the topic. So much information shared that could really motivate people. For the people who never even think about prepping and what prepping is about, this is a video that break down. We break it down in so much different form. This is why I wanted you guys to come up and share your own idea of what prepping because it give it a more broader understanding than me just here talking about prepping because I'm going to talk about my way. But now
Right.
I hear about other people way, and
Right,
that's we all learn from each other.
right.
So I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Jones Truth, Fifi Johnny, Urban Gardening, Dominic, Live from Scratch, everyone who come up on the panel tonight. Thank you
GT
guys
did
so
too.
much. Huh? GT
GT
Junior,
Junior
right?
did.
Right,
Yeah.
GT Junior was all here, yes. Thank you, GT Junior, for coming up as well and share the information. Then next week, we're going to continue this topic and just keep going because these information need to be heard, definitely. And guys, don't forget, every Friday night on my other channel, we go live every Friday night where we talk about different islands and highlight islands that people don't know about and talk about the culture. So we do that every Friday night. So if anyone interested, um, Fifi, you available for drop the link, please, if you can, to that. So that's if you guys interested, not pressuring you guys. All right. But I appreciate each and everyone. The chat was amazing as well, sharing information. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. And hope to see you guys next week again, where we're gonna continue this because I've learned from you guys as well tonight. Thank you guys so much.
The link is in the chat now for that other channel.
Okay, that link is there if you guys interested in coming out tomorrow as well, every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, where we have fun. We laugh all night. With you can check it out if you want to, guys.
It's a fun, relaxing time. It's just
And
our memories growing up, how we did things, we compare, we highlight the islands, the different islands, and the more people we get in there from other islands who can actually share, what they did in their island, because I don't want to be the one talking about somebody else's island. I
Right,
mean, it
right.
would be hearsay. So, we have
and
a good
what's
time over there.
and what's the time again?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Friday.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
Friday, every Friday night.
Okay. All right.
So thank you to everybody in the chat for your input. I appreciate the conversations because this topic is really important to me and I'm passionate about it. I may not do a lot of that stuff on my channel, but I am a prepper and this is how I live. I try to live off the land as much as I can, and I think we all should pay attention to what's going on and do something for our survival. Practice to you know prep. Just practice our prep, so in whatever way. There's no judgment, whatever capacity, whatever way you see it fit for yourself and for your family or whoever is in your circle, in your community. Go ahead and do that, and don't let the distraction get to you.
Okay. All right,
Exactly.
I'm gonna let you guys close it out. So you could say some John shoot, you could close out, then Orban close out, Dominic Fifi, and then we just end it.
I just did my part.
Oh, you did your part, okay. All right, so that's just something to encourage
Sorry
the
for jumping ahead.
no, that's okay. That's just something to encourage the people and oh yes.
Well, I don't put out a lot of content, but I do try because there's so much going on in my life. I'm doing prison ministry with my husband and so much other things going on. But let me give you this before and then say good night. Another good reason why to start a garden, most of you don't know, but most prisons have gardens. They grow their own food. So if they can do it in the penal system, surely you can do it in your yard. Good night.
Good night. All right, all right.
Wonderful.
All right, Orban. Close
Oh,
out.
this Yeah, the conversation is always great over here, and we have to keep discussing these topics to get new ideas and keep ourselves motivated because sometimes you want to give up sometimes, or you just feel like okay, so much work, or you feel overwhelmed. But it's encouraging to talk to one another and just everyone start wherever you're at. You can do a lot more than you even think you can, and don't let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do and limit what you're capable of. And just start
Right.
wherever you're at and take it from there.
Agreed.
Right, all
Agreed.
right. All right,
Agreed.
Dominic, close out.
Is he still
All right.
there?
Good night, everybody. Have a beautiful evening, by the way.
You too.
All right, all right.
You too. Thank you.
All right, guys. Tonight was a wonderful night again.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you guys
step
for coming
down.
out again. And as always, peace, love, and blessing to each and every one of you. Everyone who come out in the chat, thank you guys so much for the support and sticking around. Hope to see you guys next week again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. All right? Good night, everyone.